They hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, yeah. I had to elevate. I'm way too fly. Yeah, I'm feeling myself. Ain't no chance I'm coming down, no. Got a soul view to myself, yeah. Why would I give it up? Why do they wanna come take my place? I work too hard for it, don't need a replacement. This my vocation. Now I got rollies all in rotation. Hop on a jet just to take a vacation. Remember the moments was trapped in the basement. Now the hard work is all taking me places. Squatting all black like we trapped in the matrix. Bet on myself and go ball out in Vegas. Living a life like I'm rich and I'm famous. Don't see the grind that I know that it came with. I ain't make it this far for myself, yeah. I had to prove to everybody else. I had to set them straight. Yeah. The second of losses, I'm handing them out. Yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment. I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly. I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight.
Clap it up. Yeah, I had to elevate. We all should strive to do the same, right? We all should elevate. Clap it up for boxing, man. What's really good, ATP? Stand up, stand up, stand up. Stand up for something or fall for anything, right? Oh, we got some boxing to talk about today. Running a little late today. Shout out to everybody who's in the building right now. Like I always say, I know this is prime time. There's so many different shows, so much different content that you guys can be tapped into. So I truly appreciate that you guys come over here to hear me share some perspective on the current state of the sport that we love. Clap it up. Clap it up for boxing, man. Clap it up for boxing, man. Clap it up for boxing, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We got some announcements that were made today. Shout out to Top Rank. Looks like they got they finally put together that Xander Zayas card. We'll talk about that a little bit. We got Shushu Carrington on that card. He'll be fighting for an interim WBC title, right? He'll be clap it up. Finally, Shushu Carrington gets some respect put on his name. It's not against who you thought it might be, who I thought it might be. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Shushu's finally going to get an opportunity to do that. And obviously, we know Xander and that WBO title, courtesy of Sebastian Fundora, vacating the title, getting away from that fight with Xander Zayas. Call it what you want to call it. I won't say he ducked him, but I think technically speaking, we could probably say that, right? We'll also talk about information coming out about Ryan Garcia. Actually came out a couple of days ago about Ryan Garcia's hand having an injury, and looks like they're trying to paint a picture around the fight with Rolly Romero might have looked the way it did because of a potential injury to his hand. We'll talk about that. Obviously, we know what it looks like on a surface level, but maybe it's true, you know? Either way, and maybe it saves a little bit, kicks the can down the road for Ryan Garcia a little bit, gives him an opportunity to take the sport a little bit more serious, put more work into his craft, and maybe show improve on a later date after he deals with his hand surgery. Teofimo Lopez still out there trolling the space, right, guys? He's still out there trolling the space, trolling Turkey, trolling everybody, trolling Jaron Ennis, with his shades hanging low, and you know, he's just he's tapped into that. He's tapped into the algorithm. He's found something that's keeping him relevant in the algorithm, and he's holding on to it for dear life. He's still pushing that point. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. What's good with you guys in the building? Let me do a little roll call here in the building, man. And shout out Sonny Augustine early in the morning, came in and shot me the blessings, man. Blessings back at you, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, man. Salute to you, Sonny Augustine in the building. AK Crowder, of course. More blessings from my brother from another mother, AK Crowder. Salute to you, King. Y'all shout out my wife, Miss Rain, in the building. giving y'all some good instructions in life, right? Right? What does it say? Good things that just healthy things to do when you come on here, right? Hit the like button, right? Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. Contribute and comment in the section. And by all means, feel free to tap in and add some color in the chat. It's always welcome. Appreciate that. Salute to the wifey for always having my back, man. SOB TV in the building. Salute, Clay. Blessings, my brother. Blessings back at you, SOB. Salute to you, King. Hope everything is well. Hope everything is well, man. TV 40 says, looking where the Claymore at. Laughing. I don't know. It's right here. Right here, baby. What's good, TV 40? We still in the building. 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 eyes, 1 nose, and this damn mouth that can't stop talking. You know what I mean? Right where we left him yesterday. Back at it again. Anthony Ingram in the building with the salute. Salute back to you, family. Joseph Johnson in the building. Salute, Joseph. Yeah. That's my guy. My guy, Joseph Johnson in the building, letting y'all also know, giving you those good instructions right there. Hit the like button. Hit the like button for sure. You know what I mean? Salute to all you guys, man. So, yeah, man, we about 2 days away. What is it? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 2 days away, right? 2 days, a day away or 2 days away? Which one makes, I don't know, right? We're right around the corner from Caleb Plant fighting Armando Resendez and watching Jamal Charlo make his big return hiatus since his last fight with Jose Benavidez about a year ago. We're about to see him in the ring across from Thomas Cornflake Lamana, man. And we're going to see these guys make their return. Very excited, very interested. I think these fights are important fights in their own way. Caleb's fight is more of a keep busy, stay busy fight, keeping them paychecks coming in, fighting against a good a good fighter, but really, let's be honest, on paper, really looks like a cherry pick. Looks like a fight that Caleb should be able to handle, handle the fight against Armando Resendez. But I think more light is going to be all about this Jamal Charlo fight, right? I mean, we expect Jamal Charlo to do what he does against Thomas Lamana. Thomas Lamana, a super motivated fighter at this point. I just saw an interview with him yesterday when he pretty much embraces and understands and is being honest and transparent about the idea that let's not make any jokes about it. This is his last chance. And he's right to a degree, right? Now, we've seen him take a serious, bad KO against Erislandy Lara, but since then has been able to get some victories under his belt. This is an opportunity, although he has to know it's a cherry pick. They know that they're using him as a journeyman to come in there and keep the star fighter and Jamal Charlo busy. But he has an opportunity to upset the world, upset Jamal Charlo, and ultimately put himself in some serious conversations, which is the real news that's going on at the 168-pound division, right? We know the division is looking and is coming together. Canelo Alvarez is still the king of that division. We've got news that came out either this morning or last night. Jaime Munguia pops on a PED test, right? The life of a fighter, right? All these fighters are trying to get an edge in the game. Jaime Munguia is not above reproach, obviously. He'll deal with that. But 168 is wide open to a large degree to get some new talent, some new blood in there doing some things. And look, Thomas Lamana is not new talent, but if he was able to upset Jamal Charlo, right? So I expect Jamal Charlo to get a real fight from Thomas Lamana. I expect for Thomas Lamana to put it all out there, right? To leave it all in the ring. And that's a good thing for us as boxing fans to see these fighters compete at the highest level and have all that vested interest in the fight. You know, the vested interest in the fight makes the biggest difference as to what we get as far as boxing fans. You got boxers in there who aren't really excited about the fight. They don't want to be in the fight. Then you get like a Jaron Boots Ennis Karen, Kukujajin, right? You get those kind of fights, right? We don't want to see those kind of fights. So it's a good thing that Thomas Lamana is as motivated as he is. Jamal Charlo seems to be just equally as motivated, as he has a lot of things on this fight, on the back end of this fight that is going to be available for him. A lot of opportunities. He'll get an opportunity to obviously to get his redemption from the slap heard around the world by Caleb Plant. That's a setup for that. But even after Caleb Plant, if he's able to get through Caleb, a fight with Canelo Alvarez potentially, or maybe an Edgar Berlanga, or the biggest fights that could be made at 168, Jamal Charlo really checks the boxes as one of the go-to guys. I'd argue, depending on his performance on Saturday, of course, but I'm expecting a good performance, that this guy might be legitimately the best 168-pounder in the game, right? So this one fight at a time. The fight in front of him is Thomas Lamana. We'll see how he handles that. That's going to be great. So look, Teofimo continues to stay in the boxing space, in the algorithm, not doing what we want him to do, right? But I guess doing what he wants to do. What we got here, it will says Teo butt hurt because he can't beat any 140 champs. He won't fight Norman because there would be a loss for peanuts. He's trying to use boots to duck. He's supposed to lose so it don't hurt his career. Yeah, man, I hear you, brother. I hear you, brother. Look, man, Teofimo Lopez is definitely in a place in his career to where it don't get easier for Teofimo Lopez, right? Everything Teofimo has done up to this point to get himself the accolades he's gotten, that's all cute and it's all good. But when you're talking about going up in weight, and not only going up in weight, but fighting the best fighters up in weight, then, the chances of you getting a loss, the chances of you getting humbled, it starts to become greater and greater and greater. And you got to think that Teofimo's time is coming. And not to say that I'm looking forward to for him to be humbled, but right? I mean, listen, man, he's not a guy who's short of words. He speaks his mind clearly. He has no problem speaking his mind. So in return, I got to be the same way, and quite frank, right? Teofimo is not the kind of person who's high on our favorite people list. The antics and all the nonsense he's been pushing for the past, I don't know how long. It seems like it's culminating into something. A lot of people wanted to see Jaron Ennis go ahead and be the guy to humble Teofimo Lopez. But at the end of the day, you're also rewarding Teofimo Lopez these big fights. Entertaining Teofimo Lopez kind of rewards all the bad behavior, right? But at some point or another, Teofimo is going to have to deal with what's truly in front of him, and that's what's going on inside of his own division, right? That's what's going on in his own division. So he has to understand that, nobody's trying to, everybody's trying to be great. Everybody's trying to challenge himself and achieve in high standards goals for themselves. And what he has to understand is that the fighters like Jaron Boots Ennis, the fighters like Terrence Crawford, they don't see any greatness in beating Teofimo Lopez. There's no greatness in it, right? There's no greatness in a fighter like Jaron Boots Ennis, who arguably needs to be at 154 pounds, to fight a fighter coming up from 140 pounds in Teofimo Lopez, who's fought nobody in the division. For Jaron Boots Ennis, it's nothing. For the culture, I guess it's a little something to see Teofimo Lopez, to see Teofimo Lopez going through that, right? To see him get humbled like that. But at the end of the day, that's another conversation, because if you guys listen to me closely, you know how we speak on how I look at the connection and the relationship between a boxing fan and boxer, right? As far as boxers doing things for the culture, no real incentive in that either in the American boxing space, right? No real incentive in that either. So the American boxing space really just, the American boxing space really just in a reconstruction mode, it seemed like, right? What do they say? Renovations is happening in the American boxing space, where the fan base is having to get a reconnection with the boxers, with the actual active fighters in this space, and understanding what the boxers need from us, and in turn reevaluating what we need from the boxers, right? Reevaluating what we need from the fighters. And until that actually happens in real time, the idea of a boxer putting his own goals and ambitions to the side to satisfy some kind of thing you need, to scratch some itch you have, is just not realistic, right? And Jaron Boots Ennis is not the first, won't be the last, to sit there and put his own goals and his own priorities as important over everybody else and the nonsense that they're pushing. So Teofimo Lopez doesn't check any of those boxes for Jaron Boots Ennis. What does check those boxes for Jaron Boots Ennis is championships, unifications, right? Lineal championships, undisputed, These are the things that check the box for him. And somewhere on that list, I'm sure money is part of it as well. But one thing at a time, right? And right now, Jaron Boots Ennis at 147 pounds has some things that he needs to take into consideration for himself. What are those things? A, do I continue to stay at 147 pounds? Probably one of the biggest questions, right? Physically, if I'm hiring a nutritionist to keep me in weight right now inside of a division, I need to have purpose in the division. If I'm going to make a sacrifice, a physical sacrifice, I'm already making a sacrifice, right? I'm already making a sacrifice because my life is on the line. I'm getting punched in the head or risking being punched extra hard in the head for money. The sacrifice there alone is reasonable to say that I need to take my life seriously. But let's combine that with the fact that if I'm going to compound my situation with not only being punched in the head, but also with cutting weight, maybe in an unhealthy way, coming inside the ring to get into a combat sport somewhat depleted. He won't be the first and not the last to ever do it, but at the end of the day, there should be a certain prize at the end that makes sense, some sort of compensation that adds up to this being worthwhile for me. So as he takes these things into consideration, what are the options in front of Jaron Boots Ennis? The options are, let's see, obviously Teofimo Lopez was one option, and we've seen how he dealt with that. Another option is to hang back a little bit, relax, and wait for Brian Norman Jr. to go ahead and have his fight with Jin Sasaki in Japan and entertain a unification title fight with Brian Norman, allow Eddie Hearn to go through that heavy, aggressive negotiation process that's going to have to happen between a star and Jaron Boots Ennis to a degree, right? And maybe, arguably an up-and-coming star, potential star in Brian Norman, especially coming off of a great, exciting performance against Jin Sasaki. He can wait that out. Time is ticking, though, right? 3 weeks, 4 weeks away before that fight happens. And if that fight comes together, it might be worth his while. And, of course, he can also entertain going up to 154 pounds, which would probably be the healthiest thing he could do, right? Probably be the healthiest thing that he could do. Let me take a look here in the chat right here. Shout out to Anton Ziegler in the building. Putting some color in the chat. We appreciate you, Anton. Thank you. Say salams, Clay, showing support. Salam, King. Salam. You know what I mean? Walaikum salam. Back at you, man. Thank you for the support, man. I appreciate you, family. There he goes. Dub in the building. Well connected. Elite Sports in the building since I'm here, brother. Did you text me? I think you texted me. I heard my phone go off and I think you texted me. Did you text me? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. I got you, Dub. Give me a minute, man. Let me get this build on, but for sure, I got you, man. I got you. I see you right here, man. Let me get this in, though. Let's see here. Ill Will 85 says, we seen Boots have movement and stamina issues in the IBAF rehydration, so we know he can't do that again. We see him losing his power and time, and Boots is fighting for belts, or he's... Hold on a second. Boots needs to fight Tellez for 54 and get it back for Philly. He did J-Rock dirty. Oh, we're going to talk about it, man. It will. You must be watching the show a little bit, you know what I mean, when I be talking about that Tellez fight. Yeah. As I was stating, right? As I was stating, Boots has options to take into consideration, and out of all the options that are on the table for him, Teofimo Lopez, in my personal opinion, and clearly in Boots' opinion and his team's opinion as well, is the less attractive of all of the options Jaron Boots Ennis has on the table. Now, I know we've got spaces, people in spaces that are speaking and throwing shots at Jaron Boots Ennis, calling him a duck for not fighting Teofimo Lopez. I think anybody in here who has any type of rational thinking about them, any type of maturity about them, knows that that's nonsense, right? We don't need to defend or even speak on the ducking conversation when it comes to a 147-pound unified lineal champion fighting a WBO 140-pound champion who's never even fought anybody at 147 pounds. We don't need to sit here and play those games, right, guys? Those games, we're going to leave that for the casuals. We're going to leave that for the people who are studying the money that these fighters are making and, the girlfriends that they're walking around with and the cars that they're driving and how cute or not cute they are. You guys know who you are, right? We don't need to sit there and play that game. We're going to keep it boxing and keep it on the table making sense. We're going to stay with logic, right? So Teofimo Lopez brings nothing to Jaron Boots Ennis except for a paycheck from Turkey Al-Sheikh, right? And at the end of the day, yeah, I know, Anton, for sure. I've talked about a little bit earlier about Jaime popping dirty. We're going to talk about that. Trust me, we're definitely going to talk about that. So keeping it focused on Jaron Boots Ennis and where he's at right now, where do I think he should go? I'll be honest with you. At this point, thinking about it, I would love to see Jaron Boots Ennis fight against Brian Norman, but here goes the crossroads that I'm at with that fight. Here's where I'm at with that fight and the crossroads that I've hit with Jaron Boots Ennis fighting Brian Norman Jr. Brian Norman Jr., a puncher, an up-and-coming, may be literally the head HNIC of the welterweight division once Boots steps out the way. Great fighter. Jaron Boots Ennis is in a place in his career right now to where the weight cut is becoming more and more difficult. Now, granted, in a unification fight, and really Jaron Boots Ennis has already done the groundwork to kind of get ahead of that rehydration clause by unifying with Stanionis and now being a unified WBA, IBF, Ring Magazine champion. He's really kind of above the rehydration clause now. He doesn't have to worry about it anymore, but still, the weight cut is still challenging for Boots. And when you're fighting somebody like a Brian Norman Jr., you know, you want to be 100% who you need to be. Can Boots make 147 pounds still in a healthy way to where he's able to have that punch resistance and still carry that power and that movement? I saw Ill Will saying that we're starting to see him kind of going in the wrong direction as far as trajectory and as far as him improving and being the fighter that we've used to seeing him back in the day, the guy who we were comparing to Roy Jones Jr. and things of that nature. Is Boots still that guy at 147 pounds? Boots is a dangerous generational talent. Shout out to my brother Blue Blood Sports TV, who calls him the Phenom. And you know, I won't argue that. But at the end of the day, before he's any of those things, he's a damn human being, right? He's a person, blood, right? Veins, arteries, heart, liver, brain, right? All kind of organs, right? He's still a human being. So in all honesty, I wouldn't be mad to see Jaron Boots Ennis also leave 147 and go to 154 right now. And if he were to go to 154, who would Boots fight? Ill Will said it. I've been kind of campaigning on it. I think he has that WBA title. He has that IBF title. It's a choice. I think Boots goes up to 154. It should be for a belt. Does he fight Bakram Murtazaliev? He could, right? I think we all, you know, not sleeping on Boots' abilities at all, but there's an argument there to say that Bakram is the most dangerous champion at 154 pounds. So that would be super, I don't want to only say honorable, but that would say something to Boots' character to go in there and fight the most dangerous fighter in the division and take that belt and start working his way down. He could always do that. He's got an IBF belt, and you would think he could leverage that and use that. But also, the other thing is, there's more news coming out on Terrence Crawford in an interview he recently just had. He kind of put out a little bit of a, you know, he put something on the algorithm that might have you believing that Terrence Crawford is not completely done with the 154-pound weight class division. He may not be completely done with it. This fight with Canelo Alvarez is a great fight. He expects to win, but when he's done with Canelo, what does he do after that? One would argue there's a rematch, but he still seems to be, he still seems to have his eye, you know, in his peripheral. He's kind of still looking at 154. He may be considering unifying the division, maybe, you know, heading for undisputed, or at least unifying and fighting down there one or two more times. What could Jaron Boots Ennis do to get in the way? And you guys know how I feel about it. You got to get in the way to make these fights happen. You have to get in the way, right? You got to get in the way. What could Jaron do to get in the way, to put himself in position to potentially want one of those one or two fights at 154 that Terrence Crawford may do or may not do, whatever have it? What's the safest move for him? If Eddie Hearn is sitting there playing chess right now, if the Ennis team is playing chess right now and trying to figure out what the best move is, the best entry into 154. What's the best move? I have my vote sitting next to Jaron Boots Ennis going up to 154 and fighting Yoenis Tellez. That's how I see it. I think that's a great fight. I think there's a WBA interim or a regular title on the line that puts him directly in line as a potential mandatory for Terrence Crawford if he returns to 154, puts him right in the way. And if Terrence Crawford does go ahead and vacate the belt and doesn't come back to 154, then to me, it's natural that we'll see Jaron Boots Ennis be elevated to a full champion, puts himself right in the conversation of unification title fights with the other champions in the division. I like it. That's where I'm at with it. But we'll see what Boots does, right? That's where we're at on the Boots conversation. Let's move on. Teofimo Lopez. Let's go back actually one step and go to Teofimo Lopez, who doesn't have Jaron Boots Ennis on the table anymore. He's sitting here trolling. I don't know how much, if he's burnt those bridges with Turki Al-Sheikh. Turki Al-Sheikh, somebody who has thick skin to a degree, but to another degree is very thin-skinned, right? I think as long as there's a fight to be made, as long as there's business to be done, Turki Al-Sheikh, for the most part, is going to be open to that happening, right? If there's business to be done. You know, Canelo Alvarez also, you know, subliminally threw shots at Turki Al-Sheikh to a degree, not really, just basically humbling him a little bit and letting him know I move to my own beat, in my own drum. Don't rush me. Don't push me, right? I do my thing. When I'm ready to do something with you, you'll get a phone call from me. I'll call you. Don't call me. Relax, right? And Turki at first reacted to that with that thin skin we were talking about, right? He said, I don't even want to do no business no more with the boy. The boy feel like that about me. He want to talk about me like that. That's how he want to carry it. I don't even want to do nothing with the boy. Tell him he good. Tell him he's straight. We already know anyway. You don't fight nobody. You cherry picking. You know why you don't want to do business with me? Because I'm going to put you in there with a damn lion, a tiger, a bear, oh my, I'm going to throw something in there with you that you don't want to be in the ring with. We all know how you carrying it right now, Canelo. You cherry picking. That was Turki getting to his feelings, right? Killing Canelo with some facts. I'm going to kill you with the truth, right? But then he came back at the end of the day, invited Canelo Alvarez out there to, he invited Canelo Alvarez out to Saudi Arabia. They shook hands, hugged, kissed, made up. Canelo held the hand. Canelo held the hand, right? He let Turki hold his hand. We got the picture moment, and they're in good graces with each other. Canelo walks away with a 4-fight deal, right? With a 4-fight deal for however hundreds of millions of dollars is involved in that deal, and everything is worked out straight. Turki is always open to dial it back a little bit and get back to the business, because at the end of the day, as thin-skinned as he might be, he also has a job. He has an assignment. The job is to put Saudi Arabia on the map, put Riyadh season on the map, invest in boxing, and bring and bring boxing to the motherland, right? So it is what it is, right? It is what it is. So what does Teofimo do next? The fight on the table for Teofimo, the options in front of Teofimo, dictatorship or not, seems to be Devin Haney. That seems to be what makes sense for Teofimo Lopez if he's still interested in getting to the bag that Turki Al-Sheikh has for him. Now, there's always another option that he moves away from Turki Al-Sheikh and he goes back to Bob Arum. He says, Bob, what do you have for me? I got this funny feeling that Bob, whatever he has for him, isn't going to be as lucrative as what Turki's going to offer him. And I think we also know that the smoke at 140 pounds between the Gary Antoine Russells, the Alberto Puellos, the Subriel Matias's, even the Richardson Hitchens are high risk, low rewards for a fighter who has Turki Al-Sheikh in his back pocket right now, offering him a fight with the likes of a Devin Haney, who's coming off of a lackluster performance. And the performance he had before that, he got clipped, he got hurt. This would probably be the most vulnerable Devin Haney from a Teofimo Lopez's perspective, to, maybe take advantage of. I personally don't think that's what it is. As far as on the Devin Haney side, I think we're going to also get a stronger Devin Haney, a more confident Devin Haney, being that he's had that tune-up fight. And we know Devin Haney is a high-level, high-pedigree fighter. So at the end of the day, they could take it how they want to take it. And maybe Teofimo Lopez sees it the same, but at least with Devin, the risk could still be high, but the reward is right there with the risk, maybe even higher than the risk when you're dealing with Turki Al-Sheikh. So Teofimo Lopez has a few options still, although he's on his antic campaign, and he's trolling and poking and prodding and triggering a culture and triggering the boxing space to a certain degree. He is a talented fighter at the end of the day inside of the ring. He's consistently shown that when he fights high level fighters. When he holds, I got you, Mark Mazuma. I got you, bro. I'm about to send him out, bro. I got you and Dub. That he steps up his game when he's in those situations. So that's a great fight to be made. I think that's the fight he goes with. I don't see Teofimo walking away from the bag. If I saw Teofimo right now walk away from an opportunity to get a Turki Al-Sheikh paycheck, it would really almost make all that nonsense he's done over the past year and a half be worthless. It would seem like it was done with, like purposely. Could you imagine? We're watching right now the world in political duress right now, with wars going on between countries and things, tariff wars and wars between Russia and Ukraine and all those different things. But I bring that and use that as an example just to say that Russia's gone so far in with Ukraine right now. At this point, for them to pull out of that situation and not get something for it, get a lot of land, get something for it, it would make all those deaths and all that money they spent in vain, right? So at the end of the day, for Teofimo Lopez, for all the antics he's done, for all the nonsense he's done, for all the animosity he's built for himself inside of the boxing space, for him to do all of that and then get to an opportunity to make good money with Turki Al-Sheikh, to fight Devin Haney, a fight that has history, that will sell, that's right there next to Ryan Garcia. Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez have a history. We know what happened between those guys at 135. We know that, there was arguments from both sides of the argument, because I don't got time to defend one versus the other. But on both sides of the argument, from Teofimo Lopez's side, his supporters will tell you that Devin Haney ducked Teofimo Lopez or didn't want to fight Teofimo Lopez. And of course, on the other side of the argument, the Devin Haney's and the Devin Haney supporters will argue vice versa, how they can prove factually that Teofimo was ducking Devin Haney as well. Forget about how I feel about it. If you know, you know. If you don't, this ain't going to be the show where you find out. But at the end of the day, the story still builds up there. There's money there. That's a big fight. Outside of Teofimo Lopez legitimately being scared of fighting Devin Haney, there's absolutely no excuse not to make this fight happen. There's no, you don't sell, you're not a pay-per-view fighter, you don't put asses in seats, you're not exciting. None of that adds up to anything when you're dealing with Turki Al-Sheikh. Because at the end of the day, your money's not going to be dependent on how many pay-per-views you sell or how many asses in the seats you can bring in the building. Turki Al-Sheikh is going to provide the payday. It's up to you to make the fight happen or walk away and do like Turki's been doing to a lot of fighters, get exposed, right? So I think Teofimo takes the fight. It makes sense. I think that's what we see next. I'm hearing dates being played around with about August 16th. I know Dan Rafael put something out there basically saying that Teofimo may have sabotaged the deal because he threw shots at Turki Al-Sheikh. I don't think Turki Al-Sheikh is going to let that get in the way of the assignment, right? And I think sometimes we forget that Turki Al-Sheikh has an assignment, right? He's not just the billionaire that you guys picture. That he's not the billionaire bored playboy just spending his money because he got nothing better to do guy that the boxing space paints him to be. No, Turki Al-Sheikh he's got a job and an assignment, right? He's actually been given responsibilities to his country by the prince and king of Saudi Arabia to carry out an assignment. That's what he's here to do, and he's going to put that there over his own personal feelings. He'll communicate through the Twitter space, throw his shots, do whatever he needs to do, but at the end of the day, the job is the job. And right now, it seems like Jaron ain't on the table. The job is, I got Teofimo Lopez for a 3-fight deal for however many millions of dollars I put him down there for. I've got Devin Haney for the same deal. I got work to do. You guys are going to fight each other if your next fight is going to be with me, right? If your next fight's going to be with me, here's what the fight's going to be. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Oh, HLD says Boots is about to fight Tellez. I've been talking about him fighting Tellez weeks ago. I told you guys he was going to fight Tellez weeks ago, guys. Be honest with yourself. I'm getting good at this, huh? I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I don't know. I'm assuming HLD, if that's what you're saying, that you have that you've read some sort of some, you got receipts. It doesn't shock me at all. I think that's the next fight he should do. It makes sense. It makes huge sense. And it's a way better decision, in my personal opinion, to go ahead and make that fight happen than to fight Teofimo Lopez. And to be honest with you, fighting Brian Norman Jr. made more sense to me. You know what I mean? Waiting for Brian Norman Jr. made more sense to me. But this Tellez fight, this is chess, not checkers, because everybody knows that the big fight for Boots in real time is Terrence Crawford, not no damn Teofimo Lopez. Now, Terrence Crawford doesn't have to come back, but this is his best opportunity in making that fight. Turkey knows it. Turkey's very aware of this. You know what I mean? This is the best move. You fight for that WBA interim or regular title, whatever it's getting called. You collect that title from Tellez, and now you put yourself in the way of Terrence Crawford. Either A, Terrence Crawford vacates that WBA belt and you just get elevated up, or B, Terrence Crawford finds his way back to 154 after he's done with his Canelo business, and now Boots becomes a mandatory for that fight to happen. Makes sense to me. I love it. I love it. You know what I'm saying? If that is indeed what he's going to do. But Brian Norman Jr., once again, is definitely an option on the table. So we'll see what it is. Like I said, man, a lot of options for Jaron Boots Ennis. Last year, or about a year and a half ago, this time, Jaron Boots Ennis was in a complete different space. And you got to celebrate that, man, from going from somebody who was being ducked by a whole entire division, couldn't get any opportunities. His manager died. His other co-promoter in Steven Espinoza lost his position with Showtime. Showtime got out of the boxing space. He had nothing, ended up with Eddie Hearn, who I also believe needs to be celebrated for what he's done with Jaron Boots Ennis. After two events in his own home city in the Wells Fargo Center that he headlined, and a fight in Atlantic City to become a unified welterweight champion, this man is in a position where everybody wants to get in the Jaron Boots Ennis business, because there's money in that in the Jaron Boots Ennis business, right? So he doesn't have to take no Teofimo Lopez. He's not held to any type of situation to where he's missing out on anything. Teofimo clearly needs Jaron Boots Ennis, and who the hell cares what Teofimo needs, right? Who the hell cares? You know what I mean? It is what it is. It is what it is, man. So, yeah, man, that's where Jaron Boots Ennis is at. Teofimo Lopez, that's where he's at. His options are clear in front of him. I think it's a Devin Haney fight. I don't see anything else for him. If it's not Devin Haney, what is it going to be? Richardson Hitchens? He's going to wait on the Gamboa fight. He's going to wait on the Kambosos fight. Fight the winner out of that, get a little redemption with Kambosos. He could do that, but I don't think Turkey's interested in that. So that'll be a matchroom fight, matchroom top-ranked cross promotion. I don't see Teofimo making more than $1.5, $2 million on that. If that's what he wants to do, that's his business, one way or the other. Maybe he makes a little bit more because it'll be a unification fight. There'll be a title on the line. He'll become a unified junior welterweight champion. I don't know, right? But we'll see what Teofimo decides to do. He's on his antic train, and we don't got time to read through all that nonsense, man. Let's keep on looking here. Let's see here. Terrell Cameron says, very good to see Truck Simpson on a card too. Yeah, who Truck Simpson's about to fight somebody? Who's he about to fight? Is it about to be, oh goodness, who's it going to be again? It's going to be a real good fight. Is it Jahi Tucker? Is it Jahi Tucker? Is that who Truck? I think that might be the fight. That's going to be a real great fight. It's going to be a real great fight, man. What did he say? HLD says, excuses. Leonard did not need Duran before he got whooped. Triple G did not need Canelo. Canelo does not need Bud. Stop the excuses. Ain't no excuses. It's just facts, right, HL? It ain't excuses, brother. It's what it is. It's what it is. It ain't about excuses. It's about what it is. Take your medicine, get over it, and look for the next best thing for Teofimo Lopez. Because what's on the table for him is not Jaron Boots Ennis, brother. Is not Jaron Boots Ennis, right? It is what it is, man. It is what it is. I don't make the rules. HLD. I don't make the rules, baby. I'm just over here speaking on the news as it comes out, baby. I got a little perspective, a little opinion from here to there, but it don't move nothing, right? My opinion don't move nothing. All I can do is give it to you the way I see it, brother. So, yeah, we will keep that same energy, HLD, for sure. I hope to see you on the panel a little bit later as well, right? Hope to see you on the panel a little bit later. So, let's talk about Devin Haney a little bit, just a tiny bit, tap in on Devin Haney. Devin Haney hardly ever in the grace of the boxing space, you know, constantly triggering and poking at fans' egos, and you know, they're just upset with Devin Haney a majority of the time, right? But Devin Haney recently, I never spoke on this, put out a hit list, right? And I never had the opportunity to speak to you guys about this hit list. So I'm going to take this opportunity to give about 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes to this because I don't think it's that deep of a conversation. But I do know that he put out the hit list. And, you know, one thing about Devin Haney that I was concerned about was the riches, the money, the silk sheets, right? That whole entire theory. The Devin Haney that I was always a fan of, right, that I always appreciated and loved the fight was the Devin Haney who was hungry for legacy. The legacy-driven Devin Haney was the boxer that I was a fan of. And, you know, once he got done with Regis Prograis, I'll never forget that press conference where he became the super big prize fighter. And that's all he wanted to do was fight for the money. I spoke to Bill Haney. Bill Haney said there's time for it. He gave me the story about the age Terrence Crawford was when he became a two-weight class undisputed champion. And basically his whole thing was Devin had time. He was going to have time to go ahead and chase legacy again. Right now, the priority was going to be the big money. And this was right around the time the Ryan Garcia fight got made, right? So I was like, damn, man, all right, man. Well, you know what I mean? I kind of agreed with him. Yeah, man, it's time to get money, get money. He's a young guy. But then we saw how he performed against Ryan Garcia, all the antics, all the nonsense that, you know, that Ryan Garcia did, all the mental health issues. As fans, we didn't even know if we were going to get the fight anymore in real time because we didn't know if Ryan Garcia was going to pass a medical clearing, right? Because he was just doing so many different things. And to see at the end of that for it to culminate into a Ryan Garcia not coming in on weight and then later on after that performance, finding out that he was on some performance enhancement drugs and things of that nature, you know, there had to be some hindsight remorse, right? From the Haney team. And the hindsight had to be we played games. We got derailed. We moved from what we do. We're boxers. We try to become punchers. We fight for legacy. We try to fight for money all of a sudden. And these things culminated into a horrible ending for Devin Haney. And it made me say to myself, well, what does Devin Haney go from here? Now, you know, it's like you play in shit, right? You're going to track flies, right? You got to be careful of how you carry yourself in this world. You hang out in the wrong neighborhood too long, you become part of that neighborhood's politics. You might be somebody who had a lot of promise in your life, but now you're getting shot at because for a moment in time, you decided to leave your lane and jump into a conversation that had nothing to do with you. And it seems like Devin Haney might have had that happen to him for a moment in time. So when he made his return to fight against what's my guy's name? I'm having a brain fart right now. Help me here, Jose Ramirez. When he chose to make that fight, there were things that I were looking to see what Devin was going to do in that fight. And that fight didn't check all the boxes for me, obviously. I wanted to see him be a little bit more offensive and wanted to see more of that hunger. But it did do some good things. It did check some good boxes for me. One of the boxes that it checked for me in that fight that was very important to me was that he was going to be able to finally understand for the maybe the second time or the first time in his life that F these fans. Fuck them. Don't sit there and compromise who you are for these fans because they'll troll you into doing something that's not you. And when you fall down, they won't celebrate that you try to give them what they wanted, that you tried to entertain them in the space they wanted to be entertained. They won't recognize you for that. They'll knock you down. They'll take away. They won't put in. They'll proliferate you. You know what I mean? I'm trying to remember what that lady said in that thing, right? But they'll do everything but celebrate you and respect what you did. So F them. Do what you need to do. Be who you need to be. Be who you were designed to be, right? And it was great to see when that list came out, the hit list, or as my brother Ray Davis will call it, the wish list came out. It was great to see Devin Haney going back to who I wanted him to be, which is somebody who's trying to fight the best fighters out there, legacy, titles, big fights. You know, he wanted to make significant fights. And people could look at that list however they want to look at it, unrealistic, realistic, or not real, whatever it was, but it was a move in the right direction. So I love the list. I love the list. I think the list is is amazing. It speaks to me and says that Devin Haney is back mentally. He's dialed into the game. He still has dreams. He still has aspirations to be the best in the game. He knows how to get there. Him and his father understand the blueprint on how to get there, which is to fight the best fighters in or around your division, make it happen, do something for the history books. So I love it. I love it. I'm all on board. I want to see him. It clearly looks like Teofimo Lopez was at the top of the list. That's the next fight. Let's see Devin Haney do one fight at a time. He's not guaranteed to beat all those fighters. I think some of those fighters are, I ain't gonna lie. You know what I mean? When I look at Jaron Ennis on that list, I go, ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. When I look at Brian Norman, I go, okay. Right? So I don't got the list in front of me, but at the end of the day, that's what you want to see your favorite fighters do. You want to see your favorite fighters put out lists like that, right? I would love to see, I'm not going to go there because I don't need anybody saying I'm hating or anything, but I would love to see some of your favorite fighters move in the same direction with the same energy, right? Put out the fights that they need to fight, that they want to fight for their legacy, pursue it, and give us boxing fans something to look forward to in their career. And I think that list that Devin Haney put out there was 100% what Devin Haney needed. Now, the next thing he needs is to actively pursue those fights on that list. And I think with Turki Al-Sheikh having his back financially, he becomes a payday for all these fighters. And, he brings that to the table. And look, Devin Haney, if anything, has shown that he's susceptible to some things in the ring. So fighters shouldn't have any reservations with trying to collect a big bag from Turki Al-Sheikh, putting a Devin Haney on your resume. I think it's all good. I love it. I love it, man. Can't wait to see what happens and what ends up coming out on the back end of that. So what else did I want to speak about? I think I am about to bring my brother up here real quick. Hold on a second here. 1 second here. I'm gonna bring my brother up here real quick, and then I also got to bring today's panel is going to be a little bit more. It's going to be worked a little bit differently. I got some people that I want to bring in. My boy Dub, Mark. I'm gonna if they're still available, and then I'll open it up to the space once we finish building a little bit on what's going on in the space. I definitely want to talk about this top ranked card that just came out. I think it's going to be a crazy card, a card that I'm really considering going to with this Xander Zayas versus George Garcia, right? Or Jorge Garcia or George Garcia. What is it, right? Either way, it's going to be for a vacated WBO title. Guys, you know how we got to this WBO title conversation. We could talk about it a little bit, but we don't need to hang our hat on it too deep. Sebastian Fundora gets tricked out of his WBO title, as far as I'm concerned, gets convinced to vacate that title to go fight a rematch with Tim Tszyu, in turn putting the number one mandatory that was there, Xander Zayas, in prime position to get himself a title. Xander Zayas needed a dance partner. They saw fit that George Garcia, 33 wins, 4 losses, 0 draws, 26 knockouts fight against Xander Zayas. I think this is a great fight. I think Xander Zayas, listen, man, he asked for it. He's been saying he wants to level up. This is a level up, big time level up. Top Rank is a great company for developing fighters. So if Top Rank put him in this situation, Top Rank thinks he's ready. And I don't know Top Rank to really sit there and throw their prize fighters, a Puerto Rican fighter like this who has a whole country behind him, to the wolves, unless they think he's ready. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does it. Salute to my co-host, Ray M.F. and Davis in the building.
The other Sugar Ray in the building. For real. What's up, Clay? I'm listening to you build up here, man. And, I'm also watching the chat and our humiliated friend.
Guys, I know you in the building. I've seen up to 60 plus people in the building, man. Thank you for showing up and showing out here today. Please remember to hit that like button, support the channel, whether you agree or you disagree. Show some love to the channel. And definitely, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, don't know what you're waiting for. Get that done. Go ahead, Ray. My bad. What were you saying?
Yeah. So I said, like a humiliated friend loves to throw the smoke because he ain't got nothing else to do. But it's cool. Love it. Shout out to Dub. Shout out to Mazuma. I do want to call, like I said, I love the fact that you recognize that I do call it a wish list, because a hit list, which Javante said was, I'm coming for people's heads. These are the people I want to get at. That's a hit list. A request or a wish list or a Christmas list is something that you just say, look, I wouldn't mind. It never said hit list. It never said I want to target and beat all these dudes up. Nothing negligent, nothing foul. Nothing foul. Just straight up. Yeah, oh yeah, it's duck thing. Yeah, I seen that.
I love it, man.
Listen, it's all
Let's
good.
get it done.
I can't wait till him and another content creator end up on a shame wall for because he already ended up on the shame wall with Ryan Garcia, but he made an excuse for that. Well, he had drugs from mental health, and yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Listen, excuses, right? That's what you just said. Yo, HSD, man, much love to you, brother, but I'm gonna move on. So anyway, Clay, yeah, man. So that list is a wish list, man. You put guys out there that you want to potentially fight if they're available, saying that you'll never duck the smoke. The hit list name came out from Dazzin. Bill put out a post like hit list, like, with a weird emoji. Like, why would you even put that out here? Like, I didn't call it a hit list, but you did. And then he said, who would you like to see fight, right? Who would you like to see us fight? Basically saying, here's a bunch of names. I'm willing to take on anybody, but who would the fans want to see us fight? So, granted, he never said he wants to go fight these people. He's saying, you guys keep dropping these names. Who's next? We're willing and able to get in the ring with any one of them. I don't think that's really a call out to anybody personally.
So let me ask you this, right?
Yeah.
What's the significance of it between a wish list and hit list? In other words, why? Because the way you speak on it, it would lead me to believe that there's something wrong with it being a hit list. There's something wrong with him actively wanting to fight them, not just a wish list like, hey, I'm not scared of them, but an actual, these guys is the guys who I need to knock down right now. This is the new guys who's on the table. This is the buffet. All these guys got to see me at some point. What's the difference between that and what's the difference between that and the wish list? And also, what's the significance as far as the way you deliver it? It sounds like people are once again painting false narratives. Speak on that.
Well, because they're mad. I'm going to tell you where it starts at, right? And you heard Dub say it, right? Tank made a hit list, and everybody got at Tank because of this hit list that he no longer fought anybody on that list. He didn't step to anybody, nobody he fought yet. A lot of people just throwing out there. A wish list is saying any of these guys are potentials. Like, Like if I get a list for the holidays to somebody, I'm like, look, this is what I want for my birthday, or I want for Christmas, or I want for an anniversary. It's something you're wishing for. You put a bunch of things down. You say, hey, man, or to whoever your significant other is, your family member, whatever, parents. If you can get me any of these, I'll be happy. Not saying that I need to have them, but any one of those will work for me. And that's what he's saying. He's saying anybody on that list, I'm willing to fight. And then double down on it and said, who would you want to see me fight? Basically asking the fan base. Bill said that. Ask, who would you like to see me fight? He never said, I'm coming for people. He never said that you guys are on my list and I'm going to chop you down one by one. He didn't. He put them in a certain order. He called out the two fighters that he put in the order, right? Specifically, like he was trying to make a fight in the order that he put them. So it was first Tio, and then it went to Shakur because Shakur said he can move to 54. The other thing I want to put out there, what's up, Blue? The other thing I want to put out there is half that list is not even at 147. So why would he want to be targeting and putting people on a list that's not even in his division or close to his division at 35? And we don't even know what kind of business is he at 154, 160? Is he coming back to 47? Like, let's look at the whole.
Let me just add a question to it and say to you, all right, so with being devil's advocate, is there an argument to say that Devin Haney and Bill Haney are capping, that they don't even want to fight nobody on that list, that they're just throwing that out there just to have a spot in social media? They're just trying to be relevant. Are they clout chasing if they're putting people on their list that they don't even have any interest in fighting? Is there a legitimate argument to say that that's what's saying? Like, because if you're saying that it doesn't make any sense that half the people on that list aren't even in his weight division. And once again, I'm just being devil's advocate to say that there's an idea or a narrative or one from the outside looking in could take in that you're basically discrediting this list, right? You're basically saying this list isn't, and why would you discredit the list that Bill and Devin puts out there? I mean, because ultimately it paints them as clout chasers. Because if the list isn't real, then they're clout chasing.
That's funny that you say that, right? So is it the clout chasing coming from the other direction? And I'm gonna ask you why. Because when he was calling out calling out Ryan, they was telling him, don't go fight Ryan, go fight somebody else after Ryan lost. Go fight Rolly. When he was calling out Rolly, go fight Teo. Teo just won. Teo will wash you. He calls out Teo, go fight Shakur. You know what I mean? They keep moving needle. Oh, you too big to fight Tank? Go fight Boots. Go fight somebody at 47. Go fight Brian Norman. So it's basically Bill answering the bell to all these people that kept throwing names at him. Every time Bill mentions somebody, they always move the goalpost to somebody else. I think Devin is just saying, I'm up for the smoke for whoever, no matter who you guys throw at me, whatever name you put out there, I'm willing to fight them. I'm not running. I'm not ducking. I'm not going to say none of these people are scaring me. I will get in the ring with any and every one of them. But at the same time, I'm focused on who I'm focused on, and I'm taking one fight at a time. So any of these guys you want to see me fight, have at it. Let me know. We'll try to make it happen. And I think at the same time, that's what he alluded to. I think when he said hit list with the funny emoji, like, yeah, okay, that's what you want to call it, the zone, no problem. I think when he said, who would you like to see me fight? And when I think he said Devin versus everyone, not Devin versus the world or anything like that. Basically, he's saying, whoever you got, let me know. We're willing to fight them. Any of these guys on this list that you guys keep mentioning and you keep saying we running from or we won't fight, we're willing to fight. We're not going after them. We're not calling them out. We never called nobody besides Teo. He never called anybody or Ryan on that list. Javante, geez, I got a long list. So 3 of them he called ducks or said that they didn't want the smoke. Everybody else he never said anything about. So I think it's just a catalyst of people just building something up, throwing things out there because these are names that always resonated with Devin in and around the boxing arena when Devin's name is mentioned. And I think he's just answering the bell.
Okay. It is what it is, right? We'll see what ends up coming out of it. I mean, me personally, I think it's smoke. I think it's answering the bell to what's the game plan? What's the thing you're going to do after Ryan Garcia? And arguably you beat Ryan Garcia. And if Ryan Garcia is not even going to be the fight that you fight next because Ryan Garcia just took a loss, what's the game plan? How do you plan on revitalizing your career? How do you plan on having a resurgence? People looking at you like you're chinny. People looking at you like you're a hype job. People looking at you like you're not who you said you were. But, how do we get those boxes checked? How do we get those questions answered? And I think Bill Haney responded to the boxing space accordingly and let them know that we're going to beat up your favorite fighters. We're going to fight all the fighters you think are better than us. We're going to show you we're better than all of them. Hence the Haney era. I believe that's an usher into the Haney era, and I believe every single one of those fighters that I saw on that list bring Devin Haney closer and closer to that, to making it his era. I think most of those fights on that list, if not all of them, are legitimate fights he can lose, and I think that's great because obviously, he can win those fights, and he's favoring himself to win those fights, but he's challenging himself. He's not doing the cherry picks. He's not moving around strategically in the space and picking easy fighters and doing those things. He's going against right to what y'all think can do something to me. I'm going to go do something to it. And I think it's a response, a response to that in that way. I don't think it's cap. I don't think it's in, I say that and I ask those questions in a specific way because at the end of the day, if it's not a hit list, if it's not who he wants to fight, then there's a legitimate argument out there to say that he's clout chasing. And if he is clout chasing,
that would he is anyway. Either way, right?
It doesn't matter either. It's not about either way. I don't care about the either way part as much because everybody has their own personal opinion, right? So one way or another, somebody will have their personal opinion. But I will say that it does legitimize an argument that he's not to be taken seriously. And that, in my personal opinion, what the consensus is across the space is not something that I've ever put on the Haney brand. People could say whatever they want to say about him. I've never put on the Haney brand the clout chasing. People have done it before. I've never put on the Haney brand, not doing what they say they're trying to do, not pushing for it. And I've always fought against that. People on the other side, I'm sure there's people even in the chat who will say, please, that dude's, that's the argument that's been out there. So I'm saying that if he were to sit out here and actually put out a list and have fighters on that list that he's not even interested in fighting, that he's just putting out there, then there's a legitimate argument to say that he's clout chasing. I'm choosing to believe that's not what it is. But if that is what it is, it's not going to be a good look.
I think you're misinterpreting some of the ways I went about this, Clay. I don't think I'm saying he would not or is not willing to fight these people. I think what I'm trying to explain to you is these are fan fighters, like fan matchups that he wouldn't mind having if he had the opportunity. That's what I'm saying. I think, like I said, I don't think he's ducking the smoke. That's what he's saying. Anybody and everybody, let's do it. But at the same time, I think in some reality, we already heard that Gervonta's not going past 135. So the list was made. They still want to see the Tank fight.
Yeah, but now he's talking about fighting Jake Paul.
Right. But hear me out. I think that's where some of these names come from because all these people are talking. Keyshawn had called them out multiple times on video. Shakur said, he wanted all the smoke and had some questions and stuff about him, had some little weird words, but though Shakur had those words, he also said some positive things about Devin. So in the same sentence, you heard Bill say that he would fight Conor Ben before. So, they wanted that fight. They said that he wanted to fight Boots. People were telling him he's too big for 140. He needs to go up and fight Boots, right? You heard that before. So I think he's answering the bell to all these people. Remember, these guys listen to the space like everybody else. And I'm not putting words in Bill's mouth. Pause on that. I'm really not. I'm just saying legitimately, I think if he had a hit list and he wanted those guys to be a hit list and not somebody that he wishes to have in the ring with him as an opponent at one point in time in the future, then I think that then we could say that Bill will be like, yo, bring this mofo in the ring. This is who I want, this guy, in this exact order. One at a time. I'm knocking them down. We heard Bill talk that ish. And we didn't see that type of energy directed towards any of these fighters. It seemed like there was a great respect there to share the ring with any and every one of those fighters in the ring, the way he put that list out. So that's what I'm saying. I think it's a wish list. Like, hey, whoever want to get it, we can get it.
So are you affiliating hit lists with smoke, with problems, with a negative energy? Is calling out a fighter in boxing now a hostile thing? Is because it seems like you're affiliating hostility with competitive boxing, right? Like you're comparing it like he's never had problems with these dudes, so why would he put them on a hit list? It looks like you're kind of saying that, right? I don't know if that's what you're trying to say, but are we now affiliating competitive boxing with hostility and indifference in order for fights to be made?
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, right? So when Gervonta put out a hit list, right, he said he was coming for people's heads. He wants all these dudes. He want to get them. He want to knock Big Nose and send him out to his daddy. Like he was talking that ish. Oh yeah, this dude tried to pose with me and be my friend, and then he a fake, right? He was really calling these dudes out, like literally getting at people, back and forth in Twitter, these and that, this and that. I'm not saying that these guys never had conversations behind the scenes or on social platforms where they had disagreements. But what I am saying is he never said, we're going to get in there and beat the small man up. I was going to say something else, but, we might get a flag, the dwarf up, or we're going to go in there and we're going to show this guy he think he tough at 135. Tell him come up to 147. Let's get it. Like, we never seen that type of energy, right? We seen that these are the best fighters in and out around the division. I'm willing to fight any one of them. If you guys would like to see the fight, let me know who you would like to see first in any order, and we'll take the fight. That's it.
Yeah, I think the way I see it is, and I think that a hit list could definitely be there, and there's no hostility in it. I think that it's about competitive fighting. I don't think, and I understand what you're saying, right? Like when Gervonta Tank Davis supposedly had the hit list, there was hostility involved in it. But I think there's also something to be said about trends being said and things being changed based off a fighter. So I'm not willing to give over a hit list to Gervonta Tank Davis's description of what a hit list is. Maybe there are fans or boxing fans in the space who look at a hit list like that, right? But I would feel like if Jaron Boots Ennis were to see his name on a hit list, would Jaron Boots Ennis take it as an insult and take it as, what, this dude trying to call me out? Or would he take it as, that's what's up, bro? You want to fight? We can make this money, bro. You know what I mean? We could do what we got to do. Or most boxers looking at those type of situations more in a competitive space and able to separate the personal feelings and accept the fact that boxing has created this space where they're going to have to fight each other. Things happen. You know what I mean? Like, is it able to be that way? So, yeah, I have no problem personally calling the hit list because I don't think it has anything to do with hostility. I don't think it has anything to do with a personal, vendetta situation. I think there's the inconvenient truth of boxing that always surfaces to the top, and the most competitive people always understand that, which is if you're in my way, we got to fight. There's a good chance we got to fight. If you're in my division, if you're around me, and I'm trying to fight, and you're one of the best, there's a good chance that I'm going to want to fight you. No personal feelings involved.
There you go. So that's a wish. What you just said is a wish.
Yeah, but I don't have no problem being a hit list.
I got you. I think
it's violent. I think it's violent. I think the hit list sells. I think the hit list for the boxing fan is a better word. I think both of them can be one way to another. I think the wish list softens it, and I think the hit list makes it exciting and makes it action packed. It makes it what it needs to be in the fight game. Salute to my brother Dub in the building.
What's up, Dub? I knew you.
What's up, my brothers?
What's up, partner?
My brothers, man. What's up, man? Oh, I got something for y'all. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Let me get my setup.
Yeah. I know you did, man. I know you did, man.
Demonstration going on. Hold up, because I'm about to get on y'all about this.
Oh, you okay? Okay.
About this Devin stuff.
Guys, you in the building? Please remember to hit the like button in the building. Please remember to do that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, take an opportunity to do that as well. Guys, we're going to build on whatever Dub's talking about, but I also want to talk about the Xander Zayas fight. Shushu Carrington finally gets an opportunity to become an interim champion. I'm excited for my brother. We got the same birthday. You know what I mean? That's my guy right there. That's my guy. I need to get him on the show. We're finally going to get his option, but I want to talk about that when we get a chance because he's not fighting against Ray Vargas, which I think is interesting. So where's Ray? We'll talk about it. I want to know where Ray Vargas is. He's supposed to be the champion. Where's Ray Vargas? You know what I'm saying? And so is it official that Scooter, that Stephen Fulton, did he vacate that WBC interim title now? They're fighting for a vacated interim title because I thought that Stephen Fulton was the interim champion and that Ray Vargas was the actual full champion. So it's confusing, and I'm trying to get I'm trying to get some understanding of what we're looking at right now. Because now
Stephen Fulton, world champion.
Does it become a mandatory now for Ray Vargas? Is Ray Vargas still out the game for the unforeseeable future? Like, what is this interim title?
Ray Vargas put his belt down. Stephen Fulton won that belt. He had the title. Like, he's a champion in recess. Yeah, he's a champion in recess. He's not even a champ right now.
We did the belts. We did the list. We did the arenas. We did the scenes.
Oh yeah, I definitely want y'all to hear this. Hold up,
Mazuma TV in the building.
Mark, peace, brother.
Mark, man, can't wait to hear. Well, go ahead, Doug. Play it back, by the way. Start over here because I can't hear it.
Hold up, it ain't come on. What y'all hear yet?
Okay.
We talk about it. Hold up.
You see what I'm saying? Listen, now let me tell you one thing. No, I'm gonna tell you this. You can jump on one Russell, brother.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can jump on them when they coming. Partner with Tank Davis, y'all. We killed every narrative. We did the belts. We did the arenas. We did. Tank Davis, y'all. We killed every narrative well connected. You know we did. We did it. It took time. We did the belts. We did we did the arenas. We did the seats. We did the pay-per-view well connected. You've been following this shit. You know what I mean? Listen, don't send another bulldog at him. You already sent your Corey Stevenson. We sent him off. He didn't take. Now you want to set Gary Antoine Russell on us, and then we gonna expose that he don't want it. You see what I'm saying? Listen. Now let me tell you one thing. No, I'm gonna tell you this. You can jump on one Russell brother, but I'm gonna tell you what. You jump on another when they coming. So I don't wait. We ain't talking about Gary Antoine right now. Gary Antoine, we're talking about. You know, he has some things. He ain't said nothing about Devin. We ain't said nothing about him. Let him grow and do his thing. Unless you heard something that I didn't hear. Well connected, because then you know I'm gonna go from 0 to 100. I ain't said nothing bad about partner with Tank Davis. Y'all, we killed him.
Hold up. I want you to hear. He said that if Gary Antoine Russell say their name or whatever, Davis gonna send him a contract, right?
Yeah.
Now, what's the name went and made a tweet. Devin made a tweet. Remember when Twan lost that fight to Puelo?
Mm-hmm.
He made a tweet saying that Antoine's trash. Antoine's on this phone right here, the phone we on. Mm-hmm. He said that Antoine is trash. He said that Gary Russell Jr. was okay. He said Gary Russell. He said he respect Gary Russell Jr. He was okay. He said, but Antoine is trash or whatever, right? And Bill said that all Twan got to do is say their name, and you know they basically
are you trying to say that might potentially be the next fight that they're going to try?
No, I'm not saying that's the next fight. I'm saying that I'm gonna tell you how it'd be BS, because after that, Twan, not only did Gary Jr. say that all you gotta do is send the contract, we definitely gonna accept it. Twan came out and said that, you know, he had destroyed Devin, not once, but twice. And he told then he just went when Devin had his last fight and said that, you know, Devin scurried, you know. You seen it, right?
I'm trying to figure out and get to the
where I'm going is this. He just said that, you know what I'm saying, they won it with anybody and everybody.
Right.
Bill said that if Twan said their name, they was gonna send him a contract. Twan said their name multiple times.
But I'm saying that is he gonna send him the contract next? You can't, you know, like I said this yesterday.
No, he been said his name.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is you can't fight everybody at the same time, right? And I'm not fighting or defending one way or the other, but I am going to say that if I say that I'm going to, let's say I'm a boxer and I say I'm going to send you a contract, that doesn't mean we fight next necessarily. That means that you're on a list and that, you know, we will fight each other, that this is going to happen. You know what I'm saying? When does it happen? It'll happen when it's supposed to happen. If there's a list of fighters, then there's going to be a priority. There's going to be an order of how I select my fights out of those list of fighters, availability, risk versus reward, money, all types of things are going to be taken into consideration as far as what affects my choice that I make on who I fight next. So if he does say Gary Antoine is a fighter that he's going to send an offer to, if Gary Antoine has said something and now he's decided that I'm going to put him on this list or he's a fighter I want to fight, it doesn't necessarily mean that the contract's going out to Gary Antoine in the morning. It just means that, oh, say less, gang. Let me go ahead and I got you right here. You know what I'm saying?
His name wasn't on the list, though. His name wasn't on the list.
I mean, he wasn't on the list because maybe, I mean, is it possible that, and once again, I'm not trying to defend nothing, but I'm saying, is it possible that Bill didn't know that there's smoke? That Bill don't know there's an energy like that. That Bill don't know that Devin is out there saying that about Twan or knowing that they got smoke.
That was a response.
Possible that he's not aware yet? Or is it possible that Gary Antoine is at 140 pounds and that he knows he'd have to pull him up? Because I know one thing that I believe is that Devin is not going back down anymore. The weight cut thing is no longer going to be an issue for Devin. He's not playing that game anymore. More importantly, Bill is not playing that game anymore, right? Bill is not allowing Devin to play that game anymore, to be in a situation to where he's susceptible to some sort of susceptible to issues. So even what Ray Davis said, why would he put Shakur on there? Why would he put Javante on there? Why would he put Keyshawn on there? Well, those are all fights that can happen, but in catch weights, maybe minimum, but ideally probably, you know what I'm saying, with some sort of legacy attached to it inside of a weight class. And I would have to assume, because I don't think the weight class would be 140, that naturally the next weight class would be 147. And that's where, you know, he would invite those gentlemen to come and meet him at if those fights were to happen. Let me take a second and on a break off this conversation for a second and bring my brother Mark in the building. I don't like having people on the panel sitting there quiet too long. What's good, Mark? How you feeling, baby? How you feel? Hey, yo, man, the young Bull's birthday just passed. No, it's coming up, June 10th.
June 12th.
June 12th. Okay, man. That boy growing too fast. He flying on us, Mark. He moving on us, baby.
That's what it's looking like. I'm doing well, brother. You know what I mean? I'm just enjoying my day off. You know what I mean? I seen y'all on here, so I figured I'd come through, show love. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And we appreciate the love, man. Like what my boy Fighting Words with Bang said, we love the love, man. Thank you for showing up here, man.
Shout out to Mark. I heard him break down the hit list. It was a good breakdown. I was actually in the show on that night.
Yeah, what you think about the hit list, Mark?
Well,
first of all, list? Is it a wish list? What is it?
Listen, a list is a list to me. So if you mentioning these guys' names, then I'm assuming that you have some type of interest in fighting them. And if you don't mention the name, you know, that's something that you either like you neutral about or you just not interested at all. So I look at that list as something like they're all notable names. You know what I'm saying? But I had seen from different boxing pages that's close to the Haneys that, you know, he had solidified a fight with somebody that happened to be on that list. And on my channel, I broke it down. And I noticed that a lot of the people that's in that list, you know, they caught up at other fights. So it really came down to Jaron Ennis and Teofimo Lopez from what I assessed. And, you know, in my personal opinion, I'm not saying that Devin Haney wouldn't fight Jaron Ennis, but I highly doubt that he'll fight Jaron Ennis in his debut at welterweight. I don't think that's something that he would, you know, do. Not as a first fight. You know, I'm sure that he'll most likely try to acclimate to the weight before he, you know, fights, you know, Jaron Ennis. And from what I see, I think like the first fight with Jose Ramirez, that was like 143 or something like that. And then according to the rumors with Teofimo, that was going to take place at 145. So I don't know if Devin Haney was the one who, you know, proposed that weight or whatever. But if it is, then that lets me know that he's slowly acclimating to the weight class. You know, so from 33 to 45, and then I'm assuming after that fight takes place, then he'll just be a full-on welterweight. But yeah, I like the list. They're all notable names. They're all dangerous fights. But if we look at Devin Haney historically and what he's done in his career, you know, he's been fighting some credible guys. So I wouldn't doubt that he'll fight neither one of them.
Yeah, man. I'm on the same page with you, man. I think it's a good look for him. If you wondered where you know how he felt about boxing, and that's where I was at with it, right? I wondered, was he still into boxing like that, or was it just something he was doing now? You know what I mean? Did he become disenchanted with the sport? You know what I'm saying? Based on how the fans have treated him, social media is treating him. You know what I mean? Just the things he went through, did it jade him a little bit about the sport? So when he put out the list for me, it was like, oh, Devin is still, you know what I mean? Devin out here still trying to Devin. He's still out here trying to do his thing, man. And I appreciate it, man. I did, man. I celebrated the list because I wanted to see him return. You know, when you take, I'm gonna be frank with you, a beating like what you did against Ryan Garcia, that could change somebody's mind about things, especially when you got money, right? You already got money and you live in your life. You could be like, hey, man, what did my man Everything Boxing say? Hey, man, say, man. You know what I'm saying? What am I doing this for? You know what I mean? What am I really out here doing out here, man? My money crazy, nice. I'm good. I got a kid. I just had a kid. I don't need to be doing this, man. Plus, these fans is not grateful. So, you know, maybe I might take a few big money fights, but I'm on my way out the door. And I think that list kind of, you know, shined the light on what I think he's looking at right now, which is good to hear. So, guys, where are we on? We got Philly in the building. We got what, maybe 2 or 3 degrees of separation from the Bozeman
Tri-state, bro. And it's Tri-state right now.
Yeah, we got somebody in the building right now he's not in the gym, but you know, he's like 2-3 people away from the gym. You know what I mean? Like he's in the gym. My guy, Mazuma on here, man. Where are you at with the Jaron Boots Ennis energy right now? As far as he got the options, right? he took one of them off the table. He smacked Teofimo off the table and said, "Get that." So we're not dealing with that, right? And I smacked him off the table. I feel like he smacked. That's how I pictured it. I pictured a smack off the table. That's how I saw it in my head happening. That's how I saw it.
Yeah, imagination.
I saw it like in my mind. I just, I saw, get that shit out of here. I saw it. I wasn't there, so don't quote me. But that being
Ray, what's up with you, man, Clay, man?
But that being said,
I let Clay listen, man. I be letting Clay do his thing sometimes.
Yeah, imagination on it.
Teofimo's no longer an option, right? That being said, he has other options clearly on the table. He has things at 147 that could hold him there a little bit longer, and obviously at 154, he got the world in front of himself. Turkey's just dying. Like, Turkey's like, what are you trying to do? Let me know so I can get a line with it and shoot you this bag, right? So where do you see Boots moving? How do you see his next move being his best move? Where are you at on this Boots talk right now?
Well, obviously, I would love to see him fight Teofimo Lopez because, I mean, I'm pretty conflicted. I've said it on my channel a few times. Like, with the things that Teofimo Lopez has been saying towards black people, I kind of don't even want to see him get an opportunity. But at the same time, with the type of person that I am and how the way I came up, we usually discipline those who, say them type of things. So I would love to see a black fighter specifically do something to Tio. You feel what I'm saying? So I would love to see that. However, if we just listen, all we gotta do is just listen to what the fighters say during interviews. And Jaron Ennis has made it clear what his intentions are moving forward. And he's been very, very stern on what he wants to accomplish before he makes the transition up to 154 pounds. And that's attempting to get all of the belts. If he's not able to accomplish that feat, then of course he says he's going to move up to 154, start off fresh, and come up with a whole new mission. You feel what I'm saying? So Teofimo Lopez is somebody who's not even in his division, and to be honest with you, he doesn't even bring a belt to the table. You feel what I'm saying? Like, when we heard Terrence Crawford, when I had Bomac on my channel and I was conversing back and forth with him, I had asked him, is the possibility, of a Jaron Ennis fight, is that something y'all looking for? And Bomac looked me dead in my face and said that no, because he doesn't bring anything to the table, right? And everybody was cool with him saying so. And justifiably so, because at the time, Jaron Ennis didn't have anything to really bring to the table to entice Terrence Crawford to take on that opportunity. For all that, he just went up to 54 and fought Madrimov, who had a belt. So, and this is another thing. Let's say Jaron Ennis were to take on the opportunity against Teofimo, dispose of him, whatever the case is. You already know what the criticism is going to be moving forward. You beat up on a smaller dude. You know what I'm saying? So Jaron Ennis is probably looking at it like, why would I give Teofimo Lopez an opportunity when there's some type of potential in me fighting Brian Norman after the Jen Sasaki fight later on this year? I think that's what Jaron Ennis got his sights set on. I think he's going to wait. He's going to play the waiting game, see what Brian Norman and them want to do after the Jen Sasaki fight, because according to the Normans, although they've been a little bit shaky in negotiations and stuff like that, they've come out and said that they would like to take the Jaron Ennis fight after the Jen Sasaki fight. Those are their words. Those are not mine. So if I'm Jaron Ennis, and that's really my ultimate goal, to at least, try to grab as many belts as I can before I make that transition to 54, I'm going to try to see what type of time the Normans are on, after the fight. If that's not something that they're able to do, 154 should be the move for Jaron Ennis. So I support him and what he wants to do. And this is the thing. I like the unification fights at 47 more than Teofimo Lopez. And I also love the fights that he could possibly get at 154 more than Teofimo Lopez. So it is what it is.
No doubt, no doubt. Hey, salute to the young bull, man. Hey, Dub, I see you got the hairline tight. The hairline right now. I see you got the hairline right, Dub. I see you got the hairline tight. You know what I'm saying? You got the hairline tight. Hey, man, I knew it was a little uphill. It was a struggle. Hey, how you doing, young boy? How you doing? I know it was a struggle about a couple of weeks ago. Your dad was out here feeling some kind of way.
Yeah. Y'all, you remember that?
I'm glad to see that we were able to resolve that, and that you're back in rare. You're a handsome young brother, man. You're doing your thing. Your father keeping you tight. That's a good look, man. Dub, please add some perspective to this. Where do you see this? Where do you sit right now with this Jaron Ennis situation, the man with all the options in the world. And you could even, let's talk about Teofimo a little bit too, if you feel like it, as far as what he's going to do next. But where are you at with Jaron Ennis?
All right. First, I'm going to tell you something that I didn't even know this. You know what I'm saying? So I know Dagger one, y'all didn't know or whatever. So did y'all know that, Lamont Roach and Boots, they camps is really like intertwined. You know what I'm saying? If you know, you know.
Yeah, I know that.
Boots' cousin is like, I think it's Lamont manager or the chubby guy with the glasses. You always see him with Boots. He kind of pudgy, younger guy, glasses or whatever. I didn't know that until the other day when Lamont was spawned. I went in there and I seen him or whatever. And they just asked me, did I know, you know what I'm saying, did I know him? And I'm like, nah, I seen his face before, whatever. He was telling me, he's Boots' cousin. He's Boots' first cousin. He all over Boots. Like if you look at Boots' pages when he come out, you always gonna see a little chubby guy, glasses, low haircut. He always like behind him when he come out the tunnel and all that stuff. But anyway, another thing we overlooked, right? Remember the saying that the challenger really has to take the belt from the champion? Like, if you're a challenger, is you have to really beat the champion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all ever heard that saying? I know y'all heard that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You heard a big guy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
right?
That's Mark.
All right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Now, I believe he won the fight, but we overlooked this, though. Do you really think that Terrence Crawford beat Majimov, like, convincingly? He won. We know he won. But was it where as though you could say it was far-fetched, where as though it wasn't close?
I thought it was competitive, but I thought Crawford was the clear winner.
Yeah, I feel like it was real competitive. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Terrence Crawford won. But I'm saying, was it a big gap with the win?
No, not necessarily, because Majimov timing, it was hard to pick up on Crawford's end. So it was hard for him to like really establish his offense because he never knew when Majimov was going to strike. He was literally, it was really hard to pick up. So yeah, he gave Terrence Crawford some fits, but I think Terrence Crawford made the adjustment in the later rounds and like turning it up a little bit, like taking a little bit more chances and, just outworking him in the later rounds. I think that's what really set the fight apart, in all honesty. But Majimov made it really competitive, more than I initially thought.
I believe he won. What I'm saying, I said to say this though. Terrence Crawford was the challenger. Majimov was the champion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The way that the way they made it look like Terrence Crawford like beat by a long slide, and it wasn't. It wasn't that. So if that was the case, then like I said, that only works with with certain people. I feel like it's always favoritism when it comes to the boxing. It's all about who's throwing the card and who's the fighter. If you ever look at it, like if
same thing we saw with Tank in Lamont. But let me ask you a question though, right? Just bringing it full circle as far as like, so where do you think Boots fits into this scenario? What makes sense for Boots?
I think what gonna happen is I think Boots is gonna fight is mandatory. This is from what I hear. That Boots gonna fight the dude. I think his name started with a G.
Giasov.
Yeah, I think he'll fight him, and then the Boots. I mean, then it's the Brian Norman Jr. and Boots fight. But do they wait for once Brian Norman Jr. fight is over with? They can solidify that in stone because Brian Norman whole thing is they not signing no contract until the fight over.
Right.
Boots not saying that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're expecting Boots to hang back, defend his mandatory against Giasov, and then get into negotiations at the end of that fight with Brian Norman, or do you see? I kind of see more like what?
No, I think Brian Norman Jr. I think Brian Norman Jr. and Boots is going to come to agreement before he fight
Giasov.
I think that once Brian Norman Jr. fight over with,
I think that kind of puts. I'm gonna be real with
From
you,
what
right?
I heard, real quick,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
Giasov has a history of accepting step aside money too, so I wouldn't be
Thank you.
surprised if he take that again.
Speak on it, bro. Yeah.
Well, it could be that too, but I know the reason I know the main reason from what I heard, I heard this from a good reliable source. You know, if you put two and two together, you'll know what I'm talking about because I just spoke about them being entwined. But from what I hear is, you know what I'm saying, they trying to make the Brian Norman Jr. fight, you know what I'm saying, for this year. So I don't know how you gonna do it. I don't know. I also heard about the mandatory too. So I don't know if they're gonna give him take step aside money or how they gonna do it. But I know the Brian Norman Jr. fight and Boots fight is gonna happen this year.
Now, Giasov will take the step aside money, and Eddie Hearn is Giasov is a matchroom fighter. I don't think it's going to be any issues.
But that's why he didn't take the TO fight. That's why they didn't take the TO fight. They didn't take the TO fight because they already didn't talk to Brian Norman Jr. and Brian Norman Sr. So
yeah, I think there's a good chance at the end of the day they wouldn't take a Giasov fight right now. They're not going to have any more excuses, no more. I'm busy, you're busy. They're going to wait for Brian Norman Jr. to be free of the Jin Sasaki fight. They're going to hang back, make sure they're free, and they're going to get in negotiations. They're going to pay Giasov his step aside money, and they're going to negotiate with Brian Norman Jr. to unify. And that's probably the fight we're going to see. And if that fight can't be made, then we'll probably see Boots leave. I don't think he even fights Giasov. I think he'll
they expecting Brian Norman Jr. to be able to damn, they not really go straight into the Boots fight, but they basically don't think he's gonna have no damage or nothing against Jin Sasaki. They think that fight gonna end early with a stoppage. So that's how all of them feel. All of them feel like that Brian Norman Jr. and Jin Sasaki fight is gonna end early in a stoppage. You know what I'm saying? And Brian Norman Jr. and Boots, they look in the fight between October and December.
No doubt. 1 second. Let me go ahead and deal with these super chats real quick. Shout out to Dragonfly Jones in the building. Dragonfly, appreciate you on that $5 holla. Member of the channel said, I believe waiting for Norman will be a good decision for Boots. Yeah. I'm good with it either way. You know what I'm saying? There's a part of me that feels like, Boots is if he's not there yet, he's approaching a crossroads with the 147-pound weight class division as far as the weight cut is concerned. He was able to go ahead and get out of the rehydration clause by becoming unified, so he doesn't have to worry about that anymore. But still, I would think that his presence at 147 pounds is going to be based off of his legacy and things that can help him. And
I left some out too.
Well, hold on a second. The idea of pointless fights and the idea of fights just defending his titles, this is no longer on the table for him. They have to be significant. You know what I'm saying? And let me grab one more super chat here. Ill Will with the $5 holla says, Boots fights T.O. They would say, okay, now you definitely ducked Virgil. Lipinets won't fight at 47. KO'd Peterson and still get hate. Support this panel. No doubt. Ill Will. I feel that. Yeah, no, I feel him. And what he's basically saying is no matter what direction he goes into, bro, he's going to get hit with what he gets hit with. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, do what you got to do, man. Do what you got to do.
Real quick, G, chat it up. Why would you block ETB?
You blocked ETB?
Yeah.
Are you crazy, bro?
Why would you do that?
What are you talking about right now, bro? Don't do that, G. Jared. Don't do that, bro. Hold on a second, bro.
Oh.
Hold on a second, bro. I'm trying to. Hold on a second here. Yeah, ETB, I'm going to send the link. Yeah, bro. Don't do that, bro.
It was a fake account? Yeah, it is. Okay, he don't got a wrench. You right.
Okay. Yeah, he don't got a wrench. You right. My bad, G. He tatted on his shit.
Okay, listen, thank you, bro. Listen, I respect you.
I know he's sitting there like, yo, G, you know I wouldn't do you like that. Take a look before you accuse me of doing things. Yeah, you right, King. You right, King. Salute, man.
You got a
wrench.
Salute,
family. Respect. My bad, bro. Yeah.
You shouldn't do that. You can't block him if he had a wrench, right?
No, I can't be able to block him.
That's
I'm not even thinking. Yeah, I'm not even thinking. I was like, yo, diabolical.
I was like, you got a super wrench.
Like,
then you go with the diabolical. Hey, look though, you know that they rooting for Pacquiao to win.
Of course. I think Pacquiao has a good chance of we can talk about it. I think Pacquiao can knock Barrios over. Look at.
They rooting for Pacquiao to win because they,
it's in boxing.
They believe that the fight would easily be made. With Boots and Pacquiao will be easy made.
Yeah.
Pacquiao he went on record saying that he wants Boots next.
Oh yeah. I like the
he
sound.
Said,
hold on a second. Before we go any deeper, I got it. Mark wrinkles in the forehead. He's stressed out right now. Boxing is being played with right now. Please, Mark, speak on it, bro. What Mario Barrios, Manny Pacquiao, bro? Where you at, man?
It's an absolute disgrace if we being honest.
Okay. Courtesy of WBC, right?
Listen, man. You gotta thank the honorable Mauricio Suleiman for justifying this bullshit fight happening. No disrespect to the channel for cursing, but you already know you already know what it is. That's a 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao who's coming off of a 4.5-year layoff and a loss to you.
46? I think it's 48.
46 years old, so he pushing 50 regardless. He might be feeling like he's 48 though. To be honest with you. Look, absolutely terrible against you. Dennis Ugas was getting hit at will by you. Dennis Ugas did this exhibition recently with that kickboxer. It looked absolutely horrible. But for some reason, they think that he's going to be able to turn this clock back and defeat Mario Barrios. I understand that Mario Barrios may be the weakest champion at 147 pounds right now. I understand that he had a terrible performance against Abel Ramos in his last fight. However, I do think that even though Mario Barrios is the weakest link at 147 pounds amongst all the other champions, I think that he still has enough to defeat the version of Manny Pacquiao that we seen in that exhibition not too long ago. Manny Pacquiao's feet, what made Manny Pacquiao so dynamic and explosive was his feet, his in and out movement, how his timing was so hard to catch up with. It took Juan Manuel Marquez 4 fights to get that timing on Manny Pacquiao to put him out his misery. He no longer has that. His feet are no longer underneath him, but they falling for the bait, just like how they fell for the Mike Tyson bait. They see him doing some pad work with Freddie Roach, and they're like, oh, Manny Pacquiao looks absolutely phenomenal. I could put my father, who's 54 years old right now, on the pads, and he'll look like how he looked when he was in his early 20s. And that doesn't necessarily mean that he still has it. A lot of pad work is choreographed. It's very easy to look good on the pads. However, when you got somebody formidable in front of you like Mario Barrios, who has he has a great jab that Keith Thurman even said that was the best jab I've ever been in the ring with. Keith Thurman said that himself. He's very creative offensively. He got quick hands and he punches in combinations. Although he lacks the defense, even though Barrios has always had terrible feet and bad defense, I think that he'll beat Manny Pacquiao to the punch. And I think he'll light Manny Pacquiao up. And then after this performance that Manny Pacquiao gives to the world, they're going to go to discredit Mario Barrios when initially everybody was saying Manny Pacquiao has a good chance and all this other stuff, bro. It's ridiculous. And Mauricio Suleiman, let me just address this real quick. He tried to justify giving Manny Pacquiao a ranking in WBC. Mind you, he hasn't even fought yet, and they automatically put him in a sanctioning body. Absolutely ridiculous. But they was like, oh, they said the same thing about Sugar Ray Leonard when he came off of that long layoff to fight Marvin Hagler. Bro, Sugar Ray Leonard came off of that layoff and was still 30 years old, 3-0, still at the peak of his physical abilities, all of that. What they say, you hit your prime when you're 28. This man was literally in the middle of his prime, although coming off of a layoff, and he came off of a win. He won, took a layoff, then fought Marvin Hagler. He's 30 years old. Pacquiao is 16 years older than that.
Yep.
What are we even talking about? There's no comparison. So, I think, like I said, it's an absolute disgrace. But, when, you when you're an icon like Manny Pacquiao, you can skip the line ahead of everybody else that's currently working for their spot. That's attempting to establish their legacy. And I hope Manny Pacquiao run the old dude off the block, because that's usually what happens when they stick around too long.
Man, bro. I mean, listen. Here's where I'm at with this situation, because in the beginning when this was announced, I'm right where you are. I just couldn't believe it. Mauricio Suleiman has been, personally, this dude has been just moving funny for a while now. This is just another addition to the moves he's been making Whether we're talking about what he just did to Dimitri Bivol, whether we're talking about how he treated the Canelo Alvarez, David Benavidez situation, and we can add this to a list of the nonsense that this dude has been doing inside the boxing space. When you're talking about corruption, when you're talking about making a TKO, Turkey Al-Sheikh, Dana White, Nick Khan collaboration valid and legitimate, this is where a need for something else in boxing comes into play when you watch Mauricio Suleiman's specific last steps. It's just ridiculous, right? But then I also said to myself, well, this is the fight that we have, whether we want it or we don't want it. This is the fight that we have. So I started to think about the fight off the strength of how diabolical it is that he comes out of nowhere and not only is returning into the sport in the way he is, but a championship fight in a division where we have these other champions where unification needs to be the priority of the welterweight division. You got Jaron there, you got Brian Norman there, and Mario Barrios always seems to find a way to get entangled in something outside of the conversation that we want him to be in. So a distraction. That's
perfect. That's on purpose. That's on purpose, by the way.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Chess, not checkers out here, right? Nothing's by accident. So it annoys me and frustrates me. But the fight is on the table. And I saw Manny Pacquiao training, and you're right. I love what you said about your father being 54 years old and how he could look great on the pads. You can set it up. There's a lot of choreography in there. And I agree with you. And Mike Tyson comparison was also good. Manny Pacquiao still, though, I think when I think about Mario Barrios and I think about how he is straight, he's going to be there in front of you. He has a good jab, decent defense, you know what I'm saying? But he's nothing special. I think if Manny Pacquiao can get on his angles and get a little bit of his footwork going, not all of it, because all of it would be a one-sided affair. But I think Mario Barrios is susceptible to getting punched on. Does he have the power? The power, they say, is the last thing to go. The athleticism is the first thing to go. So Manny Pacquiao's athleticism definitely is not going to be there where he was 10, 15 years ago. But at the end of the day, is there enough athleticism in there, just enough in there to take advantage of a stationary Mario Barrios and outclass him? I don't know. The questions are going to answer that fight, but I think the fight could be way more competitive.
Hey Clay,
two things. All right, go ahead.
I want to ask you something real quick. Before I am be real quick, right? Did y'all see with the breakdown? They did a breakdown of Mario Barrios and Pacquiao, and they showed back in 2021 when Pacquiao was supposed to fight Earl Spence, and they interviewed Mario Barrios and see what he said.
Nah,
y'all didn't see that?
What'd you say?
When he was like, he feel like Pacquiao's too old and he shouldn't fight. He shouldn't fight. He should just go ahead and stay in retirement because he's a legend. And that they shouldn't, what I'm saying, dude shouldn't even fight Manny Pacquiao or whatever because he's older, man. Just let him just, live in legacy. Right? That's what they interviewed. They interviewed Mario Barrios in 2021 ahead of the it's supposed to be Earl Spencer Pacquiao for Ugas or whatever. Matter of fact, I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna send it to y'all or whatever. But yeah, Mario Barrios was saying that Pacquiao shouldn't even fight Pacquiao.
Yeah, I heard that. I remember that.
That he should let him live in legacy, man, and go on about his life. It's like they vanish taking him because he's older now.
Yeah, right.
Now he fighting them.
Listen, man, the money talk, everything else walk, and the politics of the sport always reign. We've seen a lot of that. I saw Sebastian Fundora after fighting Chordell Booker say that he wants to unify and become undisputed, and he wants all the smoke. Then a week later, I saw he vacated his WBO. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, that's why you can't listen to these people. We just gotta go off their moves, bro.
Exactly.
Hey, you can't don't let Tonio hear that, Clay. That's his boy.
Hey, bro, that's what he said.
Sebastian Fundora, him and Tonio Russell. Dudes be having, and what's crazy is we wouldn't know this because, what I'm saying, we don't be in it, we not right there with them, but, you wouldn't think that Sebastian Fundora and Gary Antonio Russell, what I'm saying, tight like that.
Right.
But Sebastian Fundora, it's a lot of, like out here, they got a lot of tapes and footages of him in the amateurs or whatever because he fought a lot of tournaments out here. For some reason, he fought a lot of tournaments in the DMV or whatever. But it's a fight. I'm gonna get, matter of fact, I'm gonna get Lamont Senior to send me the footage. When y'all see this, man, y'all gonna cry. It's a dude out here beat the brakes off Sebastian from doing the amateurs, right? I'm talking about it, man. He beat the brakes off him. Like,
hey man, it's a learning curve, man. It's a journey, man. You know what I mean? It's a journey. I'm sure that fight was a significant fight in his career, and probably has him where he is right now. That experience is priceless. Let me ask you guys though. So yeah, man, it is what it is with the Mario Barrios situation and the Manny Pacquiao situation. The fight is here. I do think it's a travesty. I put that on Mauricio Suleiman. I don't put that on Mario Barrios. I don't even put that on Manny Pacquiao. I think if Manny Pacquiao feels like he wants to return and he gets an opportunity to, I don't see why he wouldn't return. He obviously believes he can do it. Mario Barrios, I'm sure the money makes sense, so he's going to take it. Sometimes it takes the sanctioning bodies, the promoters, and the powers that be that are controlling the way these things move to do their damn job. You know what I'm saying? Canelo Alvarez, the same thing. He upsets me that he doesn't want to fight David Benavidez, but at the same time, can I fault him when he has a sanctioning body president like Mauricio Suleiman, who's going to sit there, enable him, and coddle him, and don't put no pressure on him to either make him vacate the belt or enforce any rules to make him defend against a mandatory or be stripped or threaten him with stripping him. If he can operate in that space and do what he wants, I'm going to expect him to do what he wants. So it annoys me, but yeah, man, the powers that be control it. And you know,
I don't think Canelo will fight Benavidez if they say they're going to strip him, take money from him, take his house. Yeah. He probably let him take his house, his money, and the belt.
He'll just give up the belt. But at least David Benavidez would have been a champion at 168. It would have made more sense. He could have, just at the end of the day, just enforce the rules, because if you don't enforce the rules, you enable a lot of nasty work.
I think we need to look a little bit deeper than just Mauricio Suleiman. I think this is a pocket greasing situation. Y'all can call it crazy, but who's the common denominator in both those camps? David Benavidez and besides the PBC and WBC.
What, Al Haymon and Tom Brown?
Is it Samson in both their lives?
Oh yeah, Samson Likowitz as well. Of course. I
think it's some pond greasing going on, and it's been a lot of influences, a lot of weird actions from that side. But not just them two, a few more fighters. You know what I mean? And ties to the WBC. So I think that's kind of weird. I think we need to pay close attention to that. And I wouldn't be surprised if something gets rectified soon, or we hear some exploitation coming out in the media.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I want to talk to Samson.
I want to talk to Samson. That's my guy. Shout out to Dave Chappelle. Yeah, man. So yeah, let's move on though. Let's continue to move on here. Let's see. We talked about Teofimo. We talked about Jaron. We spoke about a couple of things. I want to get into this top ranked card also that's just been announced. I'm loving this card.
Damn, Clay, I'm surprised you ain't talk about what just dropped today.
What Jaime?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Jaime, you talk about that?
That's crazy.
Get popped dirty out there. Eddie Ray no camp. As soon as he goes over there to Canelo, hot tamales, bro. He pissing.
Crazy, right? So now I'm taking the Oscar
or no
Oscarine away, bro.
No, listen.
No coincidence.
Cool. I mean, shout out to Xander Zayas for getting that opportunity for a world title. We going. I'm sure Clay gonna bring that back up.
We'll bring it back.
But Jaime Munguia, bro. Listen, y'all already know how I feel about PED users. But there's no good time to test positive for PEDs. But it just makes all the sense in the world that you would test positive for PEDs against a man who just put you to bed in your last fight. You go join Canelo Alvarez's camp. Something goes on over there, and all of a sudden you walking through punches that were just putting you on your ass not too long ago. I think that's pretty funny. And then he tests positive for they pretty much said that he had like an external source was in his body that was responsible for making testosterone. So it wasn't being produced naturally in his body. So he's literally put a testosterone in his system to make himself stronger. We all know the benefits of testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
So what's crazy is that, from what I count, it might be more, that is the sixth fighter that has either dealt with Canelo Alvarez or been a part of Canelo Alvarez's camp that has tested positive for performance enhancement drugs. Jaime Munguia, Canelo Alvarez, Julio Cesar Martinez. Ryan Garcia wasn't with them at the time, but he still he got caught with that juice right after he left them. Then we got Luis Neri, and then we had Oscar Valdez. Them dudes got 6, like Michael Jordan got rings out this
got Andy
motherfucker.
Ruiz.
But Andy ain't never get popped, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Andy popped.
Was
Andy
it?
Ruiz
Nah,
popped.
we were suspicious about Andy because he got a little. All of a sudden,
I thought he
became,
popped, but they
thought
came back and beat it.
yeah,
They
I
overturned
thought
it or
he
something.
and then it might be 7, but
Yeah,
6.
I'm about to look it up now, but
It
I
might-
think he popped and
Yeah,
they
he
came
did.
back
I
and
was
overturned.
suspicious about Andy because I was like, yo, how does dude get skinny like that? He ain't never looked like
Right.
that in his life. But then then he left Canelo and them, and all of a sudden, his performance has been dookie. 6 positive drug tests and with people that have dealt with Canelo Alvarez, bro. 6. That if that don't tell you something, I remember Devin Haney was like, "Yo, the Canelo crew, they all on that stuff," and was putting syringe emojis. That tweet aged very well, man. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I'm looking on here trying to see the Andy Ruiz thing.
Yeah, I see it right here. It's right here.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I saw it.
Anthony Joshua Nemesis and Andy Ruiz Jr. makes direct. Let me see.
Yeah, it had to do with his wife, and it was basically a lawsuit also going on. He was definitely at a minimum. They were suspicious of him using the PEDs, but I don't think it actually.
From was it
him using
he had a drug Okay, yeah, he had a drug suspension. Earlier, the article outlined a lawsuit against Andy Ruiz and Top Rank from a former manager in relation to a dispute. The article posted the legal document where the former manager claims that through Andy Ruiz's first 21 fights, they managed him despite drug suspensions, etc. Let's see.
Nah, I'm telling you, bro. It never popped out.
I couldn't find anything related to an Andy Ruiz suspension at all.
All right, so maybe he was. We don't know.
Right.
But 6
But
confirmed.
Exactly. That's the more important thing. At the end of the day,
he got a weed dirty.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Andy Ruiz got a weed dirty.
I don't really look at that the same.
But that's a masquerade too.
6. They got as many drug cheats as Jordan got rings. 6 of them, John.
Oh, listen. They definitely there's a common denominator in there, and there's consistency in there. And where there's smoke, there's usually fire. Something weird happens inside of that camp. The way Eddie Reynoso manages the supplement use or the food or the whatever's being handled in there, the nutritionist behind that camp, I don't know, but they're manipulating on a scientific level. Supplements so that their fighters can fight, and what they always say is when the fighter pops, that usually means he's been doing it for a while. Very rare.
He said he wanted to be specific that this Andy Ruiz said, I want to be specific that it wasn't PEDs, that it wasn't PEDs, it was a marijuana usage dirty on.
Yeah, I know it was
a machination
conversation more than an actual a legitimate accusation. Like it was more of some technical.
Yeah, he said because he was taking an anti-PED stance and calling fighters out, and then he had a dirty urine.
Yeah,
he tested positive. He tested positive for marijuana after he was making a stance for against fighters who calling out fighters who took PEDs.
Yeah, but like I was saying, at the end of the day, the consistency is what it is, right? Like if there's a common thread and denominator in there in that camp, you got to be suspicious. I know that Terrence Crawford's getting ready to get in a fight with Canelo Alvarez, and he has to have, his team has to have their thinking hat on and their Colombo glasses on and their Colombo jackets on and make sure that this guy's being tested the right way regularly and make sure he's clean, because they clearly mastered and they've mastered to I don't want to say clearly mastered because so many people keep popping from there, but how's everybody popping? How's everybody popping in the gym, but not Canelo, except for that one time, right? So there's some manipulation going on with on a scientific level, you know what I mean? Where they like to point fingers at Victor Conte, right? And that's funny, right? Because they'll point fingers at Victor Conte and because of what he was involved with back in the day, but ever since he's been doing snack, never has, anybody popped or showed up. I think I seen Breadman talking about this a little bit earlier. But they'll let this go under the radar, right? Like who's sitting there saying that we need to get Eddie Reynoso out the game, or the nutritionist over there out the game, or who's bringing and shedding light over to that camp over there, and bringing the attention to the fact that it's consistently positive findings. You know what I'm saying? Coming out of the test, coming out of that gym, and plenty of fighters keep popping up hot. Now a new fighter, Jaime Munguia, who's had his whole career, 40+ fights, never popped dirty, now shows up to Canelo's team, getting ready for a fight, and boom, he pops dirty. What's going on?
Tainted meat, bro.
You know what's crazy? They all tested positive for different things, though. I think Clemburo came up twice, but they all tested positive for different things. So they getting everything. They mixing that shit up in there.
Listen,
they have the cocktails.
On that Dr. Frankenstein shit, bro. They over there trying to make monsters. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You know what I mean? They're over there lightning hitting the top of the building. Pay attention, bro. Witchcraft going on over there, bro. They over there trying to manipulate everything, man. It is what it is. But nah, yeah, bro. Look, man. I mean, I'm assuming the Jaime Munguia fight is canceled at this point with Bruno Soros of the back end of this, right? No more Bruno Soros.
Did he already? Hold up. I'm about to tell you right now.
I know Bruno Soros is relieved.
Munguia return and
I hope they overturn that.
They would return and reverse.
Oh no, they fought already.
Yeah, they fought on Canelo and Saul.
Exactly, I forgot. Duh.
Yeah. They overturned the what's the name? The dirty one.
I was gonna say
they need to make that a no contest.
Testosterone metabolic.
Yeah, I mean, he popped on something hot, but at the end of the day, Bruno Soros doesn't have a loss on his record anymore.
Oxygen. Right? He tested positive for a couple things.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Bruno Soros doesn't have a loss on his record anymore. They overturned that to a no contest, right?
As they should.
Okay, this 3 hours ago. This 3 hours ago right here. Let me see. Let's see what they said. It confirmed that.
Hey, go ahead, Clint.
He was credited for unanimous decision over. However, a post-fight urinalysis revealed an adverse finding of oxygen testosterone from testing contradict through
testing EPO 2 cents. EPO is a big one, man.
McGinn now has 10 days from the date of notice to request the testing of his B sample. Absent proof of contamination or a different result produced by the B sample, the latter an extremely rare scenario. McGinn now faces a likely suspension and fine, along with his victory change to a no contest. The verdict change will also result Saras's previously unbeaten record. So basically, he got 10 days. If 10 days for his B sample to come back. If it come back negative, then the verdict stands. But if it come back positive, then the win will get reversed. And
them B samples rarely come out different.
He's hot. The B sample is the same piss, man. Yeah. You know how that test go. He piss in one cup, and they take that cup and they split it into 2 samples, bro. Very rarely is that gonna go. It is what it is. Like I said, I know Bruno Soros is relieved. You know what I'm saying? To see that happen. You know what I mean? Hopefully he don't try to sue him.
Yeah.
You know?
My thing is, I love the fan base for boxing. I love the fan base of boxing, and I love how they push
I hope he do sue him. I hope he do sue him.
I
hope he do. Bro, listen, they gonna give. I already know what's gonna happen. They probably gonna ban Munguia 6 to 12 months. They're gonna give him they gonna fine him a few thousand, and they gonna let him rock. Nah, bro, no. If you really want to stop this,
you said 6 to 12 months. I think it'll be like more like 12 to 18.
Nope.
Whatever I doubt that. They gave Ryan 12. What they gave Canelo?
6
months.
They gave him 6.
Yeah.
So historically, we've seen them happen between 6 to 12 months. If they give Jaime Munguia anything more than that, I'll be surprised. But
I said 12. I said 12. I think it's gonna be like 12 to 18.
Okay. But that's still not enough because they fighting once or twice a year anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
These dudes.
It is what it is.
These dudes.
I ain't seen TR in a minute. I see you in the building, man. Dragonfly Jones, Ill Will, DGO, the Cardenas. I see you guys. I see you guys in the building. Hey, man, listen, more importantly, at the end of the day, though, the testing has to be what it is, right? I'm glad they caught it. I'm sad that they caught it towards the end. Thank God he ain't hurt. You know what I mean? Bruno Sarasi knock him out cold or something like that. You know what I mean? And Bruno Sarasi gets the no contest on his record. And, you know, jumps back into the conversation of 168, right? He's going to be there for somebody to try to pick off and get a bag and fight. Because I don't think Bruno Sarasi's really, I mean, he's a good boxer, but I think he's a big threat to the top 5 in the game.
Yeah,
it is. That being said, though, back to the announcement of Xander Zayas against Jorge Garcia or George Garcia, whatever have you. We know the story. I mean, back to Mauricio Sulaiman a little bit, just to say that on the back end of some diabolical thing that got Sebastian Fundora to vacate his WBO title to go rematch Tim Tszyu. There's a vacated WBO title right now, right there, the 154-pound division, and Xander Zayas is number 1 ranked in the WBO, so he gets first dibs, and behind him, Jorge Garcia. They'll be headlining a card in, I want to say, July. I'm correct. Hold on, let me just take a look at it. Yeah, July 26th is when this card is going to be coming out. We got some decent fights on the undercard as well. Shushu Carrington getting an opportunity at that interim title, that WBC interim title, that one step closer to actual full championship. But where you guys at on this?
Go ahead.
Where you guys at on this fight between Xander and Jorge Garcia? First of all, and then we can start off with Mark as well on this one. Mark, where are you? Because I know what Ray's opinion is on this, and I'm not too sure all the way where Dub's opinion is. But where are you on this Sebastian Fundora vacating his WBO title the way he just did?
You see how they calling everybody? You see how everybody calling Boots a duck for ducking Tio?
Word is bond. See
how that happened?
Yes, sir.
Fundora faced no criticism for ducking Xander Zayas. That's exactly what happened. Listen. It just goes to show you that Fundora not really in it to really prove that he's the best. I'm pretty sure that Tim Tszyu's team reached out to Sebastian Fundora. They trying to get their lick back, so they offered him an amount of money that probably superseded the Xander Zayas fight. So he did what businessmen do. He probably one of those fighters that adopted that Mayweather philosophy that, you know, his family can't eat belts. You know what I'm saying? Belts collect dust. So he went ahead, vacated that title to go fight Tim Tszyu. And all Tim Tszyu did was beat up on Joey Spencer to get back in that position, you know, because he took back-to-back losses. He lost to Fundora. He got stopped by Bachram. Then he goes and he beats Joey Spencer. Automatically, he's in tune for another title shot. Well, we got Xander Zayas, who, you know, been doing everything he can to get a title shot. You know, he accepted the Virgil Ortiz opportunity. He wasn't selected. You know, they telling him that he's going to be in line for the WBO against Fundora. He shows up to Fundora's fight. You know, he even wanted to get a face-off, but I knew something was funny when the sister,
Gabrielle,
yeah,
go ahead,
she was like, oh, no, we ain't got to do that. So it was like, I feel like their intention wasn't to ever fight Xander Zayas anyway. I think they let him on. And listen, that's just how it works. You know what I'm saying? He vacated his title to avoid a fight. That's not the first time we've seen it. That ain't the last time we're going to see it. That's usually how it go in boxing.
Yeah. I got a little different take on it to a degree because I put a lot more on Samson Leakowitz. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I want to get everybody's take on this one, but I definitely think it's something diabolical. I think it's a problem with boxing, in my opinion, to a degree. You know what I mean? Not as bad as other things, but it did frustrate me. But that being said, though, Xander Zayas versus George Garcia is who's on the table. What do you think about the fight? You know anything about George Garcia? I feel like I've seen him fight once or twice, but I'm not that.
He upset Charles Conwell.
That's the guy who just beat Charles Conwell, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting.
I want to tell you, I was right too. The minimum for a drug test suspension is 6 months. The max for the first one, the max is 12 months. Okay, that's the max. The second one though is from 3 to 7 years, or a lifetime, or you can get a lifetime ban.
There's always ways around it. We've seen Dylan White. He always finds a way to be in this damn game. He pops every 6 to 8 months.
Put back in too. Remember that?
Yes, I got a question for y'all though.
Wait, hold on. One step at a time. I don't want to forget. I want some perspective on this fight. So I remember him fighting Conwell. That's the fight I remember. And, you know, he looked good in that fight. Charles Conwell didn't. And I say it that way to say that, you know, I think Charles Conwell's looked better in this fight. Do we watching that fight? I'm assuming everybody saw that fight. Was that more respect to George Garcia for fighting a great fight, or was Charles Conwell just coming there with the wrong mindset and the wrong game plan? Did he just not step up for that fight? I know Charles Conwell feels like crap right now, by the way, but go ahead. As far as George Garcia is concerned, are we expecting this to be a super competitive fight? Is this guy really like that? Or did Charles Conwell just not finish his breakfast?
I think, I'll tell you, I think Charles Conwell, first of all, overlooked this fight, probably with this on the table, knowingly that there'll be some type of internship or something involving a fight with Xander Zayas or some other fighter. And I think he took that fight lightly. We seen how he came into camp. Into the ring. He definitely looked like he was a little bit more focused on getting past the fight, not on the fight. And you can see it in the ring. Every which way you've seen that fight happening, Garcia looked like he took advantage of the moments. He smothered him. He kept in his face. He made Conwell look and feel uncomfortable in the ring. And you've seen it later on in the fight as the energy started dwindling down on Conwell as he started losing it and getting fatigued. You started seeing more and more. His corner's telling him what to do, and he's just like staying in the same focus point that he was in the beginning of the fight. Just like, I'm going to accomplish what I need to accomplish, which is look like he was trying to knock him out the whole fight, and he wasn't really setting up anything or doing anything randomly to try to make Garcia reset or anything. He just looked like he just tried to cruise through it and ended up suffering a loss.
It looked like Garcia was bringing the fight to Conwell too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's definitely was.
It might have been some underestimation on Charles Conwell's part. Maybe he was just worried about the bigger picture and not focus on what was in front of him. But there is this thing where like pressure fighters like Charles Conwell, who have punching power, who have that stigma around them as being like these really dangerous, come forward, power punching type of fighters, they get stuck in their ways and they feel like they don't have to resort to any other tactics besides that because it's been working for them so long. So, what I notice is usually them type of guys, they end up running into guys who are either able to take their power for one, or find ways to outbox them and make them look away. I think that Jorge, what's his name? Jorge Perez?
Jorge Garcia. I think
Jorge.
Garcia.
I'm sorry. I forgot his name.
Yeah, Jorge or George Garcia. I know Garcia for sure.
Jorge, let's say Jorge Garcia, whatever. You could use both of them interchangeably.
Okay.
I think that he had the style necessary to not. I think he wasn't intimidated by Charles Conwell's power. He didn't mind taking a punch for one. So that, when you have that type of mentality, it's almost hard to get that person up off you. And you know what I'm saying? He was willing to match fire with fire. And I think that, especially with Charles Conwell, the stigma that's been around him since the Patrick Day fight, a lot of dudes was afraid of like getting into it with him, like kind of like with Subrel and Dadashev. You know what I'm saying? So they're just accustomed to being like these aggressors, and Garcia wasn't going for it. So I think that he just played the better. He played the better man in that particular style that night.
Yeah, man. So how does that translate into this fight? I mean, we don't do triangle theories like that, you know what I mean? But Xander Zayas has been doing his thing. One thing with Xander Zayas is, for me, the power hasn't been translating, I think, the way he wanted it to. In the beginning, when he first came out as a prospect, it seemed like he had a little more power. He was, it was more effective. But as the competition went up, it seems like that power, I recognize him more for his footwork, his boxing IQ, the angles he fights on. He's a great boxer. But how does what Jorge Garcia bring to the table translate in a fight between him and Xander Zayas at this point?
Anybody who want to go first?
I think it's a different fight though with Xander Zayas than from Charles Conwell. I don't know. I gotta see some more Jorge Garcia, man. He could have just had a good fight. He could have really been tuned in and been on Charles Conwell, whereas though he had his number.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I gotta see more of him, because one fight can't really You know, it really can't tell me, you know, like what we dealing with, what type of fight are we dealing with.
Okay.
Yeah. I wondered that. I questioned that. I wasn't that familiar with him, and all I really have, I think I've seen like one more fight that he was in. But at the end of the day, it's just like, was that a great night for him, or is he really like that? How do you feel about it, Mark?
Well, from what I've seen in that fight with Charles Conway, and he looked like he was pretty big too, right? Pause. Like
Right. He looked
so
like he was.
yeah, so
Tatum,
maybe the size advantage played his part as well. You know what I'm saying? But to answer your question in terms of like his punching power not translating, we gotta understand that when he made his pro debut, he was at 140.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So, and Xander, he came into the pros like a pretty, you know, good size 140. Then he went to 47. He was still like a bigger guy. Then at 54, it's almost like he's about the same size as these guys that's at the top of the division. So
Hey.
I think it was almost pretty obvious that his power wasn't going to translate at 54 like it did at 40. But regardless, what I could say about Xander Zayas is I definitely think he has the better skills. And although his power hasn't really translated at 154, he throws a lot of punches. And you know, there's more than one way of stopping somebody. You could put them out with one shot, or you could just beat them down with accumulation. Xander Zayas doesn't mind throwing a lot of punches as long as he's able to, eventually get to you like he did against his last opponent in Sparmer. You know, Sparmer took a lot of punishment before he started to, wear away. And Xander was in tremendous shape because it almost seemed like throughout the course of every round, he was able to maintain his pace, his strength, and his volume. So going into this fight with Garcia, he's gonna have to pick and choose when to do these fights because, like I said, the dude has, he's a bigger guy. You know what I'm saying? He got some punching power. Obviously, he's a come forward pressure fighter. So Xander Zayas has to box. He has to fight and box in spots. I think he's gonna have to use a little bit more movement and put his combinations together and get up out of the way and keep making Garcia reset his feet. As long as he's able to do so, I think he can outpoint him to a unanimous decision. I think stylistically it plays out in his favor.
Hey, Lamont said was up to the panel too. Lamont saying he said ain't forget you, Clay.
All right, no doubt. Thank you, Senior.
Just called me.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, man, I agree. I agree. I really do agree with everything that Mark was saying, man. I think that stylistically, this is a fight for him to look good in. I think he will look good in it. I think listen, bro. And I love what you said about the power. That's the one thing that that if I were gonna hold anything against him would be somewhat the power. Other than that, he's like a super well-rounded fighter, maybe one of the most well-rounded fighters in the 154-pound weight class division. It's just that he's prospect turned contender. He's a new guy on the scene, so you don't want to give him too much. You want him to earn more, right? But I think this fight puts him in a position to do that. I think that fight would have been great between him and Sebastian Fundora. It'd been really interesting to see how that fight was going to look out, how Sebastian was going to deal with a fighter who's disciplined like that, not getting caught up in the hype of like slugging it out with you, but at the same time, being offensive, hitting you with a lot of shots, scoring, making you look dumb. I think his last fight he had against, was it Swarmer? I can't remember what his last name is.
Slava Spammer.
Spammer, right. Slava Spammer, right. That fight right there showed you that he can deal with the dog. He can deal with the tough fighter, and he really hurt that dude bad. You know what I mean? With that approach that you're talking about, Mark, with that punch accumulation and committing to that body work and the different little intangibles that he brought in there, that if the power's not there, it's something about getting punched on consistently that turns into power, right? It turns into a situation where somebody's getting hurt and he brings that to the table. You know what I mean? Ray, where you at on
y'all too? Don't forget. Remember, I have my questions.
Okay. Ray, where you at? Where you at on this fight?
I'm having some relapses of like 2004 Fernando Vargas.
Dang.
It's crazy, right? Fernando Vargas vibes. I'm really getting Fernando Vargas vibes when it comes to Xander Zayas every moment. I think he's a rising star. I think he has the power, the boxing ability, a lot of things that come to play in the comparisons of their careers. I don't know if it'll be ever an instance, because I think like the way they moved him into championship contention very quickly, he did get the win over Winky Wright, which was questionable, but it was a good fight. In this situation, I think Xander Zayas is actually in a better situation than Vargas was at that point. And I think this can actually move him in a different direction where he can also get a tough fight like a Bakram on the back end of winning this interim, or somebody like a Virgil Ortiz, as Vargas called out Oscar later that year and ended up suffering the defeat. I think it could be a similar situation with him calling out Virgil or moving into that Virgil category to try to unify interim titles, or getting the title and fighting Virgil for it. And it can hurt him in the long run. But at the same time, the skill set is there. The eye test is there. Everything I see with what Xander says that he will win this fight. I think he can weather the storm of the taller fighter. I don't even know that they don't even have a wingspan on homeboy Garcia Perez.
Garcia Perez, right? Yeah.
So I'm looking like, like how do I even know? So Xander Zayas is a tall fighter himself. I mean, you got a 6'1" fighter with a 5'10", maybe 5'11" Xander Zayas getting in there, and I think he can cause a lot of trouble. I think he can weather the storm. I think he can utilize his body work, as you call it, Clay, year of the body snatcher, and I think he puts him down with a body shot. I think he wins this fight against Garcia.
Yeah. This is going to be a good fight, guys. I'm not going to lie to you, man. I think that it's an opportunity for Xander Zayas to really show out, and I think he's ready to step up to it. I'm not going to lie to you. This is a fight I kind of wanted to see Xander in for a minute now. Not this fight with George, but as far as getting a title shot. And, when you see a fighter kind of like making everybody look like amateurs in front of him, or just, you just see levels above it of everybody he's fighting against, I think Abdullah Mason is starting to get himself in that situation. Although they look like they're fast tracking him a little bit, but
71 play.
Hold on a second. At the end of the day, if he's just knocking everybody out in front of him, you know what I'm saying, in the Abdullah Mason conversation, then you got to put him somewhere. He kind of forces the hands of the people around him a little bit to kind of fast track him. And going back to Xander Zayas, he's been looking like that kind of fighter. So I want to see what it is, man. Is he really like that? You know what I mean? We're gonna find out in July, right? Let me read this super chat here. Ill Will 85 with the $5 howl in the building. I appreciate you. King says Conwell was falling in and smothering himself. Yeah, he wasn't set up off the jab or stepping back for space. He outworked Conwell. He can't outwork Zaya. I like that. Yeah, you're not gonna outwork Zaya. I don't see it. You're either gonna be better than him, or you're not gonna be better than him, man. You're either gonna be better than him, or you're not gonna be better than him. Go ahead. Dub.
All right, first, Ray, to answer your question, he had a 71-inch reach.
Okay, so they're about the same.
Let me see.
Xander's got a 74-inch reach.
74. Yeah. Okay, so that right there.
Yeah, Xander got 74.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's an equalizer. That's why I wanted to know, because I was looking at them like, Xander, I think is 6 foot. I think he grew from his initial stats that they put on paper, because he's a tall fighter, to say the least. And I think he's going to be closer in size, and now that we know he had a 74-inch arm reach with a guy that's 6'1" with a 71, this might be, he might live off the jab and then eat and crush the body as he's fighting this guy and put him out, bro.
Probably just walk him into a lot of ish. Just keep walking him into bad situation.
There's a lot of setups. Exactly. He's gonna set traps. A lot of traps to be set in this one.
Yeah. Not the side, but go ahead, because I wasn't on sidetrack, but part of the conversation. But I
just want to sidetrack real quick, right? I've been trying to get this question off, but because I was having a vicious debate with Lamont Senior, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I told him I was going, ask shot when I got a chance. So just the panel, I'm gonna go one by one real quick. I'm gonna start with Clado, right? 126 pounds, right?
Yes, sir. One of my favorite divisions right now.
Give me your first, fifth, top 5, 1 to 5, all the champions and Shushu, 1 to 5. Go.
This is the interesting topic that you're bringing up right now. So we're gonna try to do it because, okay, look, man, we got the champions, right? And the champions are the champions. We're gonna respect the champions, right? But I would say the biggest threat and the best fighter at 126 right now, I'm gonna give it to Rafael Espinosa, and I just think he's the biggest threat. I like what he's doing. He uses all those physical attributes, and he's an exciting fighter to watch. And after watching him do what he did with Robeisy Ramirez, making him quit, The way he did, damn it, he's a hard puzzle to solve, and it's going to be interesting to see who does that. The next one on the list for me, I'm going to give it to Shushu. I think Shushu Carrington's the second best fighter at 126 pounds, man. He doesn't have a title, but listen, man, underground king. What did 50 say? I'm the underground king, and I ain't been crowned or something like that. Or I'm the, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like he got that energy about him, and I think he has the intangibles. And I think, to double down on that, the best and the biggest fight to make at 126 right now is Shushu versus Rafael Espinosa. I think that's a fight of the year candidate quality fight right there that needs to be made. Maybe even made last for an undisputed. A lot of those guys will run through the division and, you know what I'm saying, collect the other belts. And then, you know what I mean, let's see a big undisputed bout between Shushu Carrington and Rafael Espinosa. Number 3 in the division, I'm gonna give it to, oh man, number 3 in the division.
Are we excluding the champions?
No, I said the 4 champions and Shushu.
So Shushu better than Stephen Fulton?
Hold up, you gotta let him go. Let him pick his fight. You gonna get your time.
He at 130. That's what I heard. He left.
No, Stephen Fulton is a 126-pound champion right now.
No, but listen, bro, he's going to fight O'Shaquie, ain't he?
I said the champions right now.
Okay,
champions.
Stephen Fulton. All right, we're gonna include him. Last I heard, he didn't want to be at 126 no more. That's what I heard.
All right, so look, we going with the champions and Shushu.
Okay, fine. No, listen, bro, I hear you.
So you said number 1 is
Rafael Espinosa, 100%. Number 2, I'm still gonna go with Shushu, bro. I don't care.
Okay.
I'm going with Shushu. I'm sorry. I'm going with Shushu. I think Stephen Fulton is a great fight. He looked so good in his last fight, but I also seen him.
Man, I should hit Lamar. See if we can get Lamar up here, because y'all definitely go at it in a minute. We was going at it, but go ahead.
Go. I'm going with Shushu, man. I just feel like if you want me to be fair on a technical level on paper, I'll give Stephen Fulton the number 2 spot. But I'm just saying, on talent-wise, I like what I see from Shushu Carrington, bro. I think he's a dangerous fighter. And I would love to see, and I wanted to see, and I thought I was going to see Shushu versus Stephen Fulton, right? But it didn't happen. It is what it is. I heard Stephen is leaving. It is what it is. I'm also a Shushu Carrington fan to a large degree. You know what I'm saying? He's my 126 guy. He's my guy at 126. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm being a little biased. It is what it is. You can interchange it as you see fit. I'm going to give Shushu the 2 spot, or at least the 3 spot, and it can go back and forth with Stephen Fulton. And that being said, on my list, I'll put Stephen Fulton at number 3 in the division. Behind Stephen Fulton, I gotta go with Nick Ball. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go with Nick Ball, and I'm gonna give Angelo Leo, right?
Yep.
IBF champion. I'll put him at number 5.
Okay.
That's where I'm
go ahead, Ray. It's on you.
I just wanted to just let y'all know I already wrote mine down. And
all right.
It's crazy because I'm gonna build on this. I actually think Stephen Fulton is my favorite fighter at 126.
Okay.
But with that being said, Clay, you couldn't have named it better than me, man. That's the same list I got. I got Espinosa, Shushu, Fulton, Ball, and Leo. And I only give Shushu more of the and this is the question is who's the
Tony said, hurry up and finish, bro, because this is diabolical.
Bro,
Philly's in the building. We ain't doing this.
I'm hitting Lamar now. I'm trying to get Lamar on here. Hold up.
Check it. So your question is, how do we rank them? Not who we think is the best fighter, correct?
No, it's right.
Who you think the best fighter overall?
Overall, of course, I'm going to choose Fulton. But if I'm ranking them,
hey Lamar, was that we on this young debate? Remember when me and you was debating about the 126?
Yeah, but while he doing that,
send me the email.
You have
or the phone number, whatever.
Hey, you got 4 minutes to help me real quick.
Yeah, I'm at work. I got some man. So.
All right, what's the email? It's like about a couple minutes.
Yeah, give me the email address.
This is funny.
Or if he's comfortable with the phone number.
You at work. Hey, yeah. So look, what was your 5 again?
Hold on. I had Cool Boy.
You had Cool Boy number 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
All had Espinoza.
Number 2. Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember who you had number 5.
Yeah, you already know.
Go ahead, number 3.
You already know who had 5. But and I had it wasn't. It's Nick Ball and who else left?
Yeah, and Leo.
I had Leo
Yeah, you had Leo 3rd. Yeah, I remember.
and Nick Ball.
4th. And who you had 5th?
Shoe 5.
Now listen, because by man on this joint, he got Shoo as number 2, right? Well, 2 of them got Shoo as number 2, right? So they can hear you, right? Why you had Shoo as number 5? Tell them why you had Shoo number 5.
Because he ain't fight nobody yet.
He ain't fighting nobody.
Yeah.
He not even
mean,
worried.
it's true.
I told you.
It's
I
true.
told you.
I still I see some of the hot takes. That's why I
You
said
say you're not proving? Hold on.
He not.
He should have lost to Sugaya.
He lost to
I don't think so.
Sagawa. That's what I was gonna
He
say.
really lost to guy.
That's what I was gonna say. He lost to Sagawa.
He didn't lose that fight.
Bro, he looked
I
like
gotta
dog.
stop
Now they
shit.
put Shoo as number 2. So Clay, tell your list real quick. He had Rafael number 1.
I got Rafael Espinosa number 1.
I can't argue that. I'm just a cool boy fan. That's my man.
Yeah, he said he can't argue with that. I had Rafael number 1 too. Okay.
I got Shoo number 2.
You put Nick Ball and Leo they all right on the same to me. So
Yeah.
But I think Leo the harder punch. I think he beats Nick Ball. So
Ooh, that's a good
Nick
ass
Ball
fight.
will run this up. So it'd be a 50-50 fight. But I still think Leo cracking.
Okay, so
So that's why. But Shoo's last.
No matter how you plan it out.
I'm not arguing with that.
Shoo last.
He's like, you can play everything else.
You know what's funny? I'm not arguing with that because I can see any of these
shitting
top.
on him, young. You know what I'm saying?
Hold up. What
No,
you say?
for sure, Coach.
That's not shitting on him.
No doubt.
That's
Coach,
Yeah.
you gotta let me get the interview, man. You gotta let me get the interview, bro. I'm telling you.
You hear
who's it?
Claymore.
Claymore?
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta let me get the opportunity, man. I'm telling you.
Hold up, you heard it? Listen. What you say?
We set it up.
Oh, done deal. Say less. Salute, senior.
I love you, big guy. I'll talk to you later on.
That's
Don't, first of all, I want to just say something real quick here because we got to go to Mark. Ray, don't change your damn list up. Damn what they saying, bro. It is what it is. You stand your ground, bro. You stand your damn ground and don't let people press you. Don't you let them press you. You let them, you know what I mean? Don't do it. Don't do it, bro. I'm not trying
Hold up, though. We ain't finished. We ain't finished going around. Ray was on his 3rd.
Yeah, I ain't finished.
Nah, Ray ain't ever finished. Ray said he had 2.
Look,
he said his first 2 was like yours.
I said Shoo 2. That's why I was asking specifically because my favorite fighter in the division is Fulton, just like him. But I'm going Espinoza, Shoo, Fulton, Ball, and Leo, just like you, Clay. And it's not for any particular reason, but I can see how coach's list is what it is because any one of those guys are they're great talents in their own ways. But I'm going to stick what I got, man. I'm just going by like rankings. You know what I mean? If it was like a pound for pound thing, I'm going by rankings.
Man, we going back. So this is, let me be more
specific. But if we're going by fighter,
who you think was more dominant? Who you think will beat who? You know what I'm saying? Styles make fights.
Any one of them could beat any one of them at any given day. But in my opinion, I'm going to go on that list.
That's what I'm asking. Who you think are the more dominant? Take the belts away.
Espinoza is the most dominant. I think
take the belts away.
I think in Shoo's fashion of fighting, I think his excitement can change the game and bringing the spotlight to certain fighters can cause confusion and it can create a problem. I think Fulton is just a dog. I think he's a dog. I think he's been there before at championship caliber. I think he can, and that's why I got him in this order. I think he can beat any one of them at any given day. But then I think also Fulton still has some questions for me to answer, even though he's my favorite guy in the division. As far as Nick Ball, he's also a dog. He's a bulldog. He's a bowling ball. He's a guy that can go in there. He comes forward. But the problem is because he comes forward, he's susceptible to damage from the other 3 fighters. Angelo Leo, former champion, now current champion from obviously 122, who lost to Stephen Fulton. I'm not putting him above Stephen Fulton, and I'm damn sure not putting him against Espinoza. And I think Shoo washes him. as far as anybody he may beat is Nick Ball, as Coach alluded to. But I'm going to say I got Nick Ball over because I think the pressure will surprise us with Angel Leo, and I think he will back down. But that's my order.
Okay, Mark.
Mark.
It's on you, big guy.
Number 1, Rafael Espinoza.
Okay.
Number 2, Stephen Fulton. Number 3, Nick Ball. Number 4, what was the other one? Nick Ball, Angelo Leo, and then I'm gonna put Sushu at number 5.
Bro, you got an issue with New York, low key, like
No.
for real, like a little bit. There's a little bit.
No.
Is it the Knicks? Is it the Yankees? Is it the whole? You know what I mean?
Name somebody.
Thing? Like,
I could give you.
Mark,
I feel like.
Mark, he
I
just
feel
said,
like.
are we on code, Mark? Are we on code? I understand. We on code.
All right, this me. This
Mark,
my
he's trying to say the pizza better.
Bruce
my five was.
Hold on.
Wait,
Oh, go ahead.
Bruce Carrington resume don't add up to neither one of them guys. He got to prove himself just like everybody else do. Nick Ball got a Raymond Ford on his resume. Stephen Fulton got an Angelo Leo on his resume and a Brandon Figueroa on his resume. Espinoza got a Robesi on his resume. What was the other one I'm leaving out? Angelo Leo. Angelo Leo done came back off of that loss in the title fight and ended up becoming a world champion. Bruce Carrington has not done anything, and he has a whole lot of potential. I'm not trying to shit on him or nothing like that. But in comparison to them dudes, he has not done what they've done. No, I'm not. What am I saying that's wrong?
He said he hasn't done anything.
You ain't even let me finish. He didn't do anything that those other 4 guys did. So how should he be ranked above them? Are we going off the eye test, or are we talking about what they've done? Because the only way you could prove if you're the best amongst these guys is if you're either doing what they're doing or surpassing what they're doing. He hasn't done
that's why I
one.
just said we're going by dominance. We're going by if you put these 2 in the ring, who you think will win?
And he's not dominating, not yet.
Okay,
He winning,
but
the worst thing that they can hold against him is the Seagal fight, and I think that fight was a fight where he went in there with the wrong game plan. I believe that what he did was he went and played around with Gervonta Tank Davis for a week or two. You know what I mean? Watching him get ready for that Frank Martin fight, and he came in all of a sudden thinking like, you know what? I'm going to do this high guard walking down, and I'm just going to knock him out thing. And he played the game.
Seagal was probably the best fighter he ever fought.
Yeah,
Seagal was probably the best fighter on his resume. So he stepped the one time he stepped up, he performed like that. I can't put him above neither one of those 4 guys. I can't.
But look, this was my 5, right? I'm gonna tell you how we got in this conversation because I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench in this, right? All right. So this was what my 5 was. I had Rafael Espinoza as number 1. I just don't believe that none of them is gonna beat Rafael Espinoza. I don't believe none of them gonna beat Rafael Espinoza, right? And a couple of them I think is gonna be way unfair. I got Rafael number 1. Number 2, I had Stephen Fulton, right? I had Stephen Fulton as number 2. Number 3, I had Shushu. I had Shushu as 3rd. 4, I had Angelo Leo. 5, I had Nick Ball. I got Nick Ball 5th. I just don't believe that. Kenny, is it the way he could? Yes, but I don't. And Nick Ball and Angelo Leo was like kind of because I can see either one of them beating the other one, but I don't see neither one of. I don't see neither one of them. I mean, it's possible that Nick Ball could beat Stephen Fulton. Anything possible. I think it's possible if he go in there pressure and get some good punches off or stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Stephen Fulton got great defense. If he ain't got nothing, he got great defense and good footwork. So I think that Stephen Fulton beats both of them. I believe that Shushu beats both of them. I think Shushu and Stephen Fulton, that'd be a crazy fight. I think that'd be a hard one for a very hard one for Shushu though. I think Stephen Fulton defense and him the way he fight up close, I think it'll give Shushu a lot of problems. You know what I'm saying? and it's subject to open Shushu up for a lot of punches. Now, this is where the monkey wrench come in. This is why we came up with that top 5. So now we move Inoue in the equation. Who you drop off if you put Inoue in the top 5? If you put Inoue in the top 5, who you drop off and where you put him at?
I'm dropping.
Hold on, go Clay. Clay, I go
Don't do
first.
it. No,
Clay first.
no, don't do that, Mark. Don't do that.
I'm dropping
God is
Bruce off
nasty
the
word.
Clay first. Clay.
No, I'm gonna drop off. I'm gonna drop off. I'm gonna drop off Angelo Leo. I'm gonna drop him off because at the end of the day, Stephen Fulton needs to be in the conversation if Inoue is there. And where am I gonna put Monster Inoue?
Who do we beat and who he doesn't beat?
2, bro. I gotta put him at number 2 behind Rafael Espinosa. He's just like that.
So he beats everybody but Rafael.
Oh, who he beats? Okay, I got.
I mean, we going back. That's what we going about. We ain't going about what they. We saying far as dominance. Who does he beat?
I'll put him. Listen, I gotta keep him on. I gotta put him at the number 3 spot. I think he beats Stephen Fulton again. I think he beats Angelo Leo. I think he beats Nick Ball. I think the people who's gonna give him the smoke up there is Rafael Espinosa and Shushu.
Okay.
And Shushu,
my man, Raid Day.
You're gonna get mad at me for this one because this is a
Raid Day.
I wrote it down again, by the way. I'm gonna tell you what I did.
I'm gonna take your damn pen.
Yeah, listen, man.
He said I'm crazy. He said I'm crazy,
thinking,
man.
Y'all gonna get mad at me. So even though I had Shushu at number 2, I'm removing him from the equation totally. Why? Because he's not a champion, and they are all champions.
But we not going by that, right?
Hold on, no. And I'm talking about in a fight, right? In a fight. And I'm gonna move him down, and I'm gonna say I think Fulton goes up to 2. I think Inoue goes to 3. And then I think Ball and Leo stay in the same position at 4 and 5. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I don't think anybody beats Espinosa. I think Fulton can beat Inoue at 126 and 130. And I think Ball and Leo both struggle. Ball might give Inoue some trouble, but I don't think it's the case. As far as Shushu, I don't know what he would do with a guy like Inoue because we haven't seen him, especially him being like, to me, I think he's struggling to make that, not struggling, but forcing himself to make that division at 27, 28 years old. I think a fight with Inoue would be damaging to him, in my opinion. So with Inoue in the equation, that changes the whole landscape of how I see the division going. I mean, those fighters. So Shushu out.
It's my turn.
You put Inoue at number 2.
3. I think Fulton moves up. I think Fulton can beat him in a rematch in the States at that.
Okay.
It's about to be your turn. Let me just go ahead and do this super chat. Shout out Big Dog Willie in the building. Brought this up here. I don't know where he got this from. Diabolical. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Big Dog.
Jake Paul versus shout out for the $2. Jake Paul versus Tank, November 22nd, Las Vegas MGM. Bats.
Don't forget the hair grease. Don't forget the hair grease.
Oh no!
After fighting Lamont in August,
that's what I'm saying. September, October, November. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's what Big Dog Willie say. That's not me. I haven't verified it, looked it up. I don't know.
That's pushing it.
But
you can't even say that because what if Tank get hurt or what if he get a lot of bruises? You know what I'm saying? And he can't do those.
I mean, it's definitely not contracted in facts yet on that level. I don't think, but I don't know. It is what it is. Let's just take it for what it is, which is a super chat from Big Dog. You know what I'm saying? Right, it's the super chat. Let's not anything deeper than that. You know what I mean? Salute to Big
funny as well.
Salute to Big Dog Willie, bro. Hey, Mark, you there?
Yes, I am.
Give this diabolical list that you about to drop. Go ahead, bro.
Diabolical.
I know.
Let's hear this.
You about to throw my
Yo,
boy out.
Let's hear this, Mark. And you weigh in the equation where you
I
put
don't
him.
think
I
I don't think it's
my boy homeless
diabolical.
outside in the cold in New York and in New York. Go ahead, man.
Oh man, don't do that. My dad from Brooklyn, man. I don't think my list is diabolical. I think it's pretty sensible.
I think you got a sense
If
of
we
humor.
add,
I think it lacks
if
vision, though. I think you lack vision.
you saying that I'm not jumping to conclusions. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. That you can call it that
Of
too. That's what
course.
you want to call it. Go ahead.
So if you add NUA to the list, we dropping Bruce Carrington and we putting NUA at number 2, in my opinion.
Okay.
So it's gonna be Raphael, NUA, Fulton, Nick Ball, and Angelo Leo. Bruce Carrington don't get on the list. He got to prove himself. If he beat some of them guys, or then we talking something else. But I'm not into giving people stripes before they earn them. They got to earn them before I hand it to them. That's the type of time I'll be on.
I could rock with. I could respect it. I'm cheering on Bruce. You know what I'm saying? Shushu Carrington. That's my guy. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. That's probably why I got him in there, though. But I can't fault you. You're right, though. You're not tried true. And listen, man, we got to keep the same energy. I say that all the time for other fighters. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not saying that for Shushu, though. But but I understand. I understand. You know what I mean?
I respect it.
So with me, my list sounds similar to Mark's, similar, but I don't drop Shushu off the list. You know, I drop Nick Ball off the list. I'm going Raphael number 1. I'm going NUA number 2. I think NUA beats all of them. I'm going at 3rd. I'm going Stephen Fulton. Cool boy going 3rd. 4th, I'm going Shushu. 5th, I'm going Angelo Leo. I'm knocking Nick Ball off the list. I don't believe that Nick Ball beats none of them. Maybe on a good day he will, but if everybody coming in, you know, regular, no injuries, no nothing. Yeah.
I'm gonna be real with you. I think Raymond Ford fought the wrong fight against Nick Ball. And I think if they fought again, I think out of 10 times, Raymond Ford beats Nick Ball 6 times. You feel me? I think Raymond Ford is more.
I go 7.
He has more wrinkles to his game than Nick Ball. Nick Ball is a one-dimensional fighter. He has decent boxing, but at the end of the day, he has that come forward Esau Cruz thing going on with good combinations. He lets his hands go, but I just think that Raymond Ford gave Turkey Al-Sheikh and gave that card a great fight, knowing he was getting ready to leave 126 and go to 130. That's what I think.
Did you see did y'all see the interview with Stephen Fulton on Ottawa?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I saw it. Yes, I did see it. Yeah.
Did you hear what he said about going into the NUA fight?
Yeah.
What he had to do to make the weight?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said he had to put a treadmill inside the hotel room. Mm-hmm. And he was running twice a day with a sauna suit on, and he walked around with a sauna suit under his clothes.
Yeah, he had to do it. He stayed in the weight too long was the point of it. Clifton Dennis, salute, man. Welcome to the channel. I don't know if I've ever seen you here. Guys, we got 50-something people in the building. Please remember to hit the like button. I appreciate you. Thank you in advance for that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, take a moment to go ahead and do that. Also, if you look up in the pinned up in the channel, I got Mark's channel up there. Also, I feel like I should have Dub's channel up there as well. Up in the pinned up in the channel, guys. Take a moment to go ahead and subscribe to those guys' channel as well. Yeah, look, man, everybody in here, I love the community because it's an honest community, right? Like, as far as what Mark said about Shushu needing to earn it, I can't argue it. You know what I mean? I can't. That's legitimate. I mean, I think even Shushu in his own right, if he was a seated show, would be like, yo, I can't even argue with him. That's how we got to do it. We got to earn it. I'm giving Shushu accolades before he's earned them. I think the eye test for me, you know what I'm saying? I see a lot of talent in him. I see a lot of problems for fighters dealing with him, with the Rafael Espinosas, and even with the Monster Inoue's. I also think that that's a super fight that's there to be made. If Monster Inoue makes it there before Shushu has to move up to 130, I think a Monster Inoue Shushu Carrington fight would be crazy. I think Shushu's involved in the conversation with Rafael Espinosa and making him the biggest fight at 126, and also vice versa. I think Monster Inoue versus Shushu Carrington is one of the biggest fights that can be made at 126 too.
Shushu been calling him out though.
Yeah, I know, man. He's getting ready to go ahead and collect this interim title. Sit on that, be a mandatory. Let's see if Stephen Fulton decides to come back to 126. I don't think he will. I think he's gonna go to 130 and stay up there, vacate.
That's a guarantee. He already said that. He said that 126 is kind of hard for him to make now too. He said, he said that on Out of War. He said that he's going up to 130 or whatever. You know,
facts, Teach. I think Ball beat Ray Vargas. I think that decision was a bad decision. I don't think it was like a diabolical decision. I could see it going either way to a degree, especially considering that Ray Vargas was the champion in that fight. You got to take it away from him. But I think Nick Ball beat Ray Vargas. I think that's why he immediately got the title shot with Raymond Ford. I think even the Turkey thought it. You know, I mean, the powers that be felt like a lot of people in the building thought Ray that Nick Ball won that fight. So it is what it is, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So guys,
you gonna kick my list to the back, bro? No, just messing with you.
What? You got your list? We didn't give you your list. You didn't do it.
No. I said you just kicked it to the back. You gave everybody their praise on their conversation. Where they put everybody, you was like, nah.
Everybody their praise. I really gave Mark.
I know. I'm just messing with you, Clay.
Because I ain't gonna lie.
I'm really just messing with you. Don't pay me no attention, Clay.
Yeah. It was a technically sound take. You know what I mean? I don't want
to. Listen, I get it. It's the Philly versus New York atmosphere. I'm just stuck in the middle of New Jersey. I get it.
It is what it is, man.
Do y'all agree with how they rank the rankings that just came out? How they put old boy at third? What's his name?
That's what ranking? You talking about Ring Magazine?
Yeah, the boxing rankings. No, not just Ring Magazine. The boxing rankings. They put what's old boy name?
What division are we talking about right now? What weight class?
We talking about 135.
So
not 140. 140. We talking about 140. We talking about old boy that's about to fight Richardson Hitchens.
Gamboa. I mean Gamboa.
Yeah, they put him as. Yeah, he's really second. He's second. In the IBF. He's second already in the IBF, and he ain't fought not one fight.
Yeah, he fought one fight, and it wasn't nobody we're talking about.
Sabril Matias. Yes, I mean, he fought one fight. Sabril Matias. I forgot he just fought that's long ago, but Sabril Matias is ranked number 1 in the IBF, and he's number 2. You know, how is that? Like.
That's politics. That's above our pay grade, bro.
No number 2.
Then
3.
Then Rayo lost, right? I mean, Rayo was the champion. He lost once at 140, and he's not even ranked at 140 no more. I mean, he's ranked like that. Let me look at it again.
I think they announced that he going back down to 35. That's probably
He ranked at 135, but he's ranked like 6th and 8th in 2 different sanctioning bodies.
Him and Isaac Cruz moving back down.
He lost the WBA title, but he's
right. Who you talking about? Rayo and Isaac? They're going back down.
Yeah, they're going back down.
Yeah, Rayo ranked. He's not even ranked at 140 no more. He's ranked at 135, but he ranked like 6th and 8th, and he's not even ranked in the WBA. Like, how was that? He was his WBA champion, and he lost, and he's not even ranked in WBA. He's ranked I think he's like 8th in WBC and 6th in the IBF, if I'm not mistaken, or 6th in the WBO.
Ortiz gets that's the problem I got.
I
mean, besides Jermaine Ortiz really being active, the disrespect he gets. Always in the fight, always being a live dog. The losses were questionable for him.
Who you talking about?
Jermaine Ortiz.
Oh, Jermaine Ortiz. Jermaine Ortiz just moved up.
Yeah, Jermaine Ortiz.
Yeah, he just moved up tremendously.
Against
he's in WBA. He's ranked like 6th. Or he's ranked like 6th or 7th.
Yeah, I didn't rank that high.
Look at he was 15th at first, and they just moved him up.
But he's 9th right now. That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah, it's
I'm
not.
not. I don't know. I
That's-
think he get. I think they shit on that guy, bro. I think he get the raw end of the.
Yeah, he ranked 9th.
I'd
How
like to
Frank
see
Martin
Turkey-
ranked high too?
There
I'd
you
like to
go.
see Turkey-
Exactly.
Turkey put him on that Ring Magazine ambassador. I think Jermaine needs to be over there, bro. Because I don't think he's gonna get what he needs. He needs that machine behind him. He needs
And
that.
he might be moving to 47 too. Anyway, he's a big 140 pounder.
Frank Martin is eighth at in the WBA, and he's ranked at 135 too. At 135, I think he ranked 5th in the WBC, and he's ranked. I seen him ranked again too in another section body. Hold up. Yeah, no, he just ranked in the WBC. He's ranked 6th in the WBC at 135, and he's ranked 8th in the 8th in the WBA 140.
Right.
Frank Martin. Jermaine Ortiz ranked 13th in the IBF. He's ranked 9th in the WBA. That might be the only. He's ranked 14th in the WBC, and he ain't ranked in the WBO. So he's ranked in almost every sanctioned body at 140 except the WBO.
Right.
I mean that's pretty good.
Is what it
That
is.
ain't bad. Isaac Cruz still ranked at 140 though. He's ranked 2nd in the WBO at 140. Isaac Cruz ranked 2nd at 140. WBO. Let me see. And
No, he's three WBC, 2 WBO.
and
He's up there.
eighth, 135 WBA. He ranked 8th. And that's it.
Yeah, it is what it is. What do you guys think about? We're heading into the weekend before we bounce out because we're getting close to that time.
Okay, Whistling told me to say this to y'all. Lamont Roach. He said, to be honest, for Shushu being 5th with only 14 or 15 fights is actually great. He's in those conversations, so he doing something right, but he's not a champion yet. He's very good and still getting better. And once he beat one of the top guys, he will move up in my book.
I got it. I got you. It's technically sound, just like Mark, man. I can't knock it, bro. It's a technically sound take.
I think they got each other numbers. They got like the coach button.
I don't know that man, but I'd love to interview him too.
That's
Lamont Roach button.
That's Lamont Roach's dad. For sure.
Yeah, I know who he is. I just don't know him personally.
Yeah, right. Yeah, man.
That's my man. Love him to death. He a good dude, son.
Yeah, y'all be having the gym only blackout screen meetings, and y'all just be just messing.
Nah.
Man,
look, guys, listen.
That was crazy.
We on our way out the door soon. And I want to bring up the last topic, of course, is the card we got going into this weekend. We got the return of Jamal Charlo after his little hiatus. And then, of course, we got Caleb Plant fighting his tune-up fight in Armando Resendez. Thomas Lamont on the other side of the ring from Charlo. We also got Kyron Davis. He's not a Philly native, but he trains out of Philly, right? I know he works with Breadman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's from Delaware, I believe, but he trains with Breadman.
Yeah, he is. He's from Delaware, but he out of what's the name of that gym?
Schuler's.
Schuler.
Right. Mm-hmm. So we got that card popping up this weekend. Light talk. Jamal Charlo's return. Interested in seeing what that looks like. Question for the panel: is Jamal Charlo back, or is he just getting a bag and then we're not going to see him again? How do we feel about Jamal Charlo right now, man? What do we like what we're seeing in his interviews? Do we believe him? Is he selling us? Are we buying in?
I think he's really trying to make a solid return. I feel like he that Caleb Plant fight, man, he really want that. So I think that he gonna go in there and try and give it his all, man, so he won't lose. Because all he gotta do is win, and Caleb win, and they fight next.
Yeah.
So so I feel like he gonna go in there and give it his all. And his brother's supposed to be coming back. He said he gonna announce it. I see on his live. he went live. He was like, he got a fight coming up, and it's at 154.
Mm-hmm.
He got a fight coming up at 154. And he's gonna announce it soon. So he's saying he's still a champion. He ain't lose at 154. He said he's still a champion at 154, and they gotta take the crown from him.
Yeah, man. I like it. What do you think, Mark? What do you think about it?
Well, the card that's coming up this weekend ain't Pacquiao and Subriel on the card too?
No, they're on the. I thought it too, bro. They're on the Ring Magazine card on the Edgar Berlanga card.
They always was on that card though. They was always on.
All right. I got it mixed up then.
Shakur and them card.
Okay, cool. So we gonna do Thomas Lamana versus Jamal Charlo. I had Thomas Lamana on the channel. I've known him for many years. He's always come by my gym. Cool dude. But I do think that he's a little bit out of his league with this one. You know what I'm saying? I think that Jamal Charlo, even though he's not where he was at one point in time, especially at 154, 160, I still look at him as a top tier fighter. I still look at him as being very dangerous. And I know that Jamal Charlo is definitely locked in because, this win, if he gets this against Thomas Lamana, is going to set him up for that Caleb Plant fight, which he truly wants at the end of this year.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
So he ain't got no choice. He ain't got no choice but to be locked in because if he not locked in, then he gonna miss out on a great opportunity to get some get back against somebody who slapped the.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm saying gave him that great Khalid, that Big Show slap. You feel me? So he ain't got no choice but to be locked in.
Baby,
all this set up too, y'all. The winner of this fight. They fight each other, Caleb and Charlo, and then the winner of that's supposed to fight. Rumors they're supposed to fight Edgar Berlanga.
Oh, that's cool. Well, then we got Caleb Plant versus Resendiz. I seen Resendiz fight before. I seen the Elijah Garcia fight and all of that. Caleb Plant is another fighter that's just completely out of his league in terms of skill set. I see Caleb Plant stopping Resendiz. You know what I'm saying? I think both of these fights end in knockouts. I think he stops Resendiz. I think he's better than him on the inside. He's better on the outside. I think he got a better jab. He's faster. He's more intelligent. There's no reason why Caleb Plant shouldn't stop Resendiz. You know what I'm saying? I think he goes down off accumulation, or he gets set up with a sneaky shot and he gets stopped dramatically.
Body. Shout out to Greg Hackett. That's what I see.
Damn.
And Jamal might clean Thomas Lamana up with a left hook. To be honest with you. So no disrespect to Thomas Lamana. Like I said, cool people, but that's just how I see it. I see both fights ending in knockouts, and I see them fighting each other at the end of the year if Jamal don't pick up the bottle. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, Jamal, come on, man, come on. I'm buying in, man. What do you think? Where you at it, Ray? This is the last one before the weekend.
I'm just hearing a lot of tune-up and tune-up. Listen, bring it on and let me, you know what I mean? Change the tires, put the spark plugs in, tune up. Y'all done. This toast. They ain't even worth it, right? Mm-hmm. As far as Jamal, listen, man. I just think that there's a PBC promise with him. You know what I mean? I think he it took him some time to get in the conversation with them and them to make him believe that he's going to be somebody if he gets his act right. I think he's buying into it. I think he's showing that. I think he looks like he's back. He's fought all his demons apparently. And he looks to be on the right track and back to business. I was saying yesterday, as I alluded to him being probably one of the best all around, if not the best and most solid boxer today. And I mean, it was backed up with him being good all round, well-rounded, every single aspect of boxing. Especially over his brother. I think his brother has a one way of fighting, and he just is basically he uses all avenues of boxing, anywhere, everywhere, any footprint you can name. Jamal is definitely one of the best at all those aspects. I don't see Cornflake beating him at all. Again, stoppage, left hook. I like it. I was going to go with a body shot, uppercut to the body as a stoppage, but I'll take the left hook too. As far as Caleb Plant, we talked about it. I said, this is another fight where we're overestimating the opponent, even though he's supposed to lose right? Tune up. He's supposed to lose. This is the guy you spar with, and this guy knows your kind of like your twitch muscles, your certain things you do in the ring. And it may be possible that Caleb Plant, who likes to play around sometimes, gets caught or get lackadaisical and something bad can happen, because he is a guy that likes to get in the ring, and if he feels that he has the advantage, he's lackluster. So I think Caleb wins, but I think don't be surprised if he does lose. But you know what I mean? Like I said, no headgear, different size gloves with a guy you spar with all the time, things can happen. So
and some knocked out Jared Hurd too. So don't forget that.
But
Jared Hurd was washed.
Yeah.
Now when Mercedes beat him though.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He was never the same after J-Rock.
Okay, I'll rock with that. But listen, at the end of the day, I got both fighters meeting like Zuma said, sometime early next year, maybe January, February, and they both coming off their victories. But don't be surprised.
They set for November, December.
Yeah, it's November, December.
Oh, even better. But don't feel bad if Cindy wins. They can happen.
Yeah. Okay, I think you've seen something in Resendiz. All right. Yeah, man. I think Caleb's IQ is just there. I think he understands. He's the better pro fighter. You know what I'm saying? He is the better. You know what I mean? And I think he's sitting on his punches a little bit more. So yes, Resendiz, he'll be there a little bit more for Resendiz. But I think class is class, man. I think unless Caleb Plant lacks the discipline to do what he's supposed to do, which he never showed me that type of person, I think he's enjoying the idea of not going 12 rounds. I think. You know what I mean? I think he's enjoying it. He likes it. He wants to get this guy out of here, and I think we see this guy out of here between round 4 and 7, 4 and 6.
Yeah, did y'all see the press conference?
I think Caleb gonna do him. I ain't gonna lie to you. Pause.
Did y'all see the press conference though? Did y'all see the press conference?
Yeah.
Oh, did you see Caleb Curry? The dude Lamont, when Thomas Lamont, he kept saying. He got mad because he felt like they was looking past him because they kept talking about the Caleb.
Yeah, he's been on that. Caleb had to shut him up. Did he do it again?
Caleb said, "Man, look, man, shut the." He said, "Nigga, shut the f up, man."
No, Caleb been. That's another thing. Caleb been on that lately. Caleb not been playing around with nobody. I think Caleb believes he is the best fighter at 168 right now. I think he has his eyes on Canelo, low key. And I think he thinks, and I think he has good reason to feel that way, because I think Caleb Plant has always been a sound, great fighter, and he's been getting better at the end of the day. He's sitting on his punches more. I think I see him winning against a Edgar Berlanga. The Charlo fight is a fight I don't know. I think between those two, I'm going to be real with you. If Charlo's dialed in the way he looks like he is, I think he's the best fighter at 168 outside of Canelo Alvarez, but I think it's definitely between him and Caleb Plant. So Caleb feels like he wants to make statements. He seems like one of those people, when he gets focused on something, he puts all of his energy into it. He doesn't have a B plan. He's the kind of guy who's either got an A plan, and if the A plan fails, then he's looking for another A plan. He's not a B plan guy. You know what I'm saying? So I expect him to put work in on that boy Resendiz. I think he's going to make a statement in this fight.
Man, Caleb a good dude too, man. That's a good dude.
Yeah. And with that being said, and let's look at it, because I'm going to say this straight up. The reason why I think Berlanga left Matchroom is because he didn't want that smoke. We can go through this. Diego Pacheco.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Diego Pacheco is still at 168.
He's going over there trying to work with Turkey. That ain't the place you go if you're trying to duck smoke. I'm going to tell you right now.
Okay. He went.
You say he went what smoke, Ray?
I think Eddie was trying to set that fight up with Diego Pacheco and him, and he ain't won it. I think he.
Nah. That's not what happened. So, what happened was you ain't see the with them talking about the joint. What happened was they was trying to set a fight with Edgar Berlanga and Caleb.
Right.
But Edgar Berlanga felt like basically like he was the A side. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
No.
So Eddie explained it on the explained on the interview.
He was like, explained it too. He said it too, damn near.
He said that Eddie said that loss with Canelo doesn't make you the A side.
I remember.
He was like, I
remember that.
Yeah, but so, I think at the end of the day, I don't believe Edgar Berlanga at this point in his career, because listen, man, if he plans on getting a fight with Canelo Alvarez, He knows he's got to go through the fire. There's no ducking the fire for him. So for him, it's more so position, money, A side, the way he sits at in the negotiations, and how big the bag is going to be for him. He wants.
I mean, he fucking no, but he said for Caleb, he felt like he was the A side, like he should be.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying what I'm telling you is that he's not ducking the Caleb Plant. He's not ducking the Diego Pacheco. He's not ducking these fighters. It's just that he feels like since the Canelo Alvarez fight, he's riding the wave of I'm a big deal. I'm big money. I bring a large audience. I'm a good-looking Puerto Rican terror squad. I got the hip hop scene behind me.
He's about terror squad.
He got this picture in his mind to where he's bigger than life. And for him, it's about positioning. It's about these big fights happen a certain way. I'm not moving away from them, but they're not regular fights. I'm not doing fights not on pay-per-view no more. I'm not doing fights to where it's not a big deal, big marketing money, big dollars. So he wants to get in the Turkey Al-Sheikh business. He wants to get into that Ring Magazine ambassador business. I know that's what Edgar wants. I can see that's what Edgar wants. And that's why I said with the proper motivation, he'll fight any of these dudes. It's not fear. It's money. It's star power. He's trying to wield his newfound fame that he feels like he had. And I think he's overstepping it a little bit. I don't think he's that big. But I understand how he's trying to move. But also want to say that him fighting on this Ring Magazine card is the opportunity he's looking for. It's him betting on himself. He took a big leap of faith to step away from Eddie Hearn, somebody who I think put him in some decent positions considering the fact that he fought. I don't really like his last 3 or 4 fights. I think he was all trash. I don't think he fought nobody seriously, but he was still able to get in that ring with Canelo Alvarez. So he moved away from Eddie Hearn and said, listen, I'm going to bet on myself. Eddie said, I don't think you're worth it like that. Go ahead and test yourself in the market. Now he finds himself headlining a Turkey card. This is what he needs. This is what he wants. He has to prove himself against Hamza Shiraz. But after this, I think if he beats Hamza Shiraz and Turkey does get involved with him, he can't get involved with Turkey Al-Sheikh and Ring Magazine and think he's going to be able to duck any smoke. Turkey's only getting involved with the biggest fights possible. Edgar Berlanga gets no more easy looks. He knows that, and he has to be embracing.
Let me ask you how this though. Who do y'all feel like is really the main event though on that card?
Edgar's the main event.
So you think
Edgar's a bigger fan base? It's in New York.
You think it should be big? You think it should be main event over Shakur and
Yes. I know people don't like to hear that, but Shakur. Let's just look at it for what it is. Do I think Shakur's a great fighter? Yes, but let's be honest. Shakur Stevenson got a bad reputation in the American boxing scene. If it was in Europe, if it was in Riyadh or something like that, it'd be different. But here in America, what do you have at Shakur? A boring fight with Edwin De Los Santos. You got a fight that he had with Hiron Tunian to where they got the cameras up in the stands watching people leave. He's not, there's issues there as far as his market value in this fan base in the space that he's in. He's that guy to me. You know what I mean? I think I ain't gonna lie to you. If not number 1, number 2 in 135 pounds. And when you look at Edgar Berlanga, look at that press conference. Look how he was talking crazy to Hamza Shiraz. Look at the sellability. Look at what he does. He stole the show. Edgar Berlanga is a bigger star than Shakur Stevenson, not a better fighter than Shakur Stevenson, but he knows how to carry himself in front of that camera. And if you're trying to sell tickets, dare I say this? I never thought I'd say this, but if you're trying to sell tickets, you're trying to sell pay-per-views, you're trying to do all these things, Edgar Berlanga checks the boxes.
I agree for different reasons, and I'll tell you what I agree with. I think the fact that Canelo, who's the face of boxing, name is in the equation, no matter if it's a future fight or the past fight, resonates for that division alone, having that the bigger fight, because the fact that that can lead to that being a rematch, that creates more notoriety for the division. I think we're not guaranteed Tank and Shakur fighting. We're not guaranteed Shakur fighting Keyshawn Davis. We're not guaranteed the results of that fight. Anybody's going to stay there and they're going to make a fight. And I think that the move for Edgar to get into a better fight, or Shiraz getting into a better fight, sets the stage for a bigger event as opposed to Shakur Zepeda, who their results gets them to fight next, because we don't know that. And I think that's why you see that as the main event.
I like that too, for sure. Yeah, man. I think what comes off the back end is bigger with Edgar Berlanga than Shakur. I think they're going to try to push for Gervonta Tank Davis and all that, but you're right, man. They're not for sure. They're not for sure, man. What about you, Mark? You think it's wrong? Edgar shouldn't be headlining?
Yeah, I think Shakur should be the headline, to be honest with you. Listen, if you feel like that he's more capable of selling than Shakur Stevenson, then you got a case because he more, he talk more, he get disrespectful on stage. You see him making the gun hands pointing it at Shiraz. But at the end of the day, I don't really look at Edgar Berlanga to be this huge star. You know what I'm saying? Like
Me neither.
I seen this man just came off of, he fought in Florida. And for those of y'all who don't know, because I'm Puerto Rican myself, Florida has like the highest population of Puerto Ricans outside of Puerto Rico. This man was on the undercard of Amo Williams. You see what I'm saying?
He was
And
fighting a crazy, diabolical opponent.
yeah, like you fighting a dude who did 10 years for an armed robbery, put on 300 plus. No, bro, that's all facts. My dad knows the dude personally. He did a decade in jail for an armed robbery, and then he was 300 plus pounds in jail, lost all that weight, and now you stepping into the ring with Edgar Berlanga. When you in a weight class, you shouldn't even be in all honesty. So you coming off of that performance right there. I don't know any record breaking dates that he did. I seen Shakur Stevenson headline his hometown, and from what I heard, he did all right. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I think it should be like a respect the game thing as well. You know what I mean? Because Shakur actually is a multi-division world champion. You know what I mean? He's aligned with some big fights. And, this man, I feel like he done accomplished more. So from that perspective alone, I do feel like Shakur Stevenson deserves to headline New York. But at the same time, it is New York. Edgar Berlanga's from New York, so they probably thinking like because he's the headline, and he sells some tickets in New York. You know what I'm saying? So from a business aspect, I could see why they put him there. But me personally, if I'm the one doing the matchmaking, I think it's like out of respect for the game, I think I would just put Shakur as the headline. But I see why they did it. I see why they did it. And I think, in all honesty, there's more of a demand for Shakur Cepeda than Berlanga and Shiraz.
Oh, hell yeah. There's no demand for Berlanga.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
I just think it's an action of the results of the fight. That's what I think.
And I think when you talk about press conferences, when you're talking about just listen, man, Berlanga run his mouth, bro. I'm just saying. And also, we got to remember that Hamza Shiraz is Turkey Al Sheikh's. You know what I'm saying? That's his
boy. And that's what I was telling everybody when I was on live. I said, yo, for real, they probably didn't even make that main event Berlanga because of Berlanga. I think they made the main event because of Hamza Shiraz because him and Turkey are like this. And when I did my research on Hamza Shiraz, not only is he a brand ambassador for Riyadh season, he's an ambassador for Saudi Arabia overall.
Yes.
So that he gets privileges that these other fighters aren't gonna get. And when you Turkey Al Sheikh and you putting this money up, you could dictate whoever the fuck is gonna be the main event.
That's a fact. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna add to what you just said and say that having Edgar Berlanga across from Hamza Shiraz helps Hamza Shiraz's brand get crazy to have somebody talking crazy to him like that. And I'm gonna tell you guys straight up, bro, do not blink an eye because you might F around and see Hamza clip that boy.
That's what I've been saying. That's what I've been saying.
Because of that Carlos Adames fight.
That's what I've been saying. I was telling people, and Berlanga don't fight like Carlos Adames. Carlos Adames was real elusive in there, good upper body movement. Berlanga defense ain't built like that. He actually gets hit a lot.
And Mark, Hamza Shiraz, no excuses. But reasons can still be reasons. If the man really had injured hands, if he really was hurt in that fight, don't bet on him to fight hurt in a fight against Berlanga. I'm saying, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Like, I'm not making excuses to say that he would have beat Carlos Adames or wouldn't have beat Carlos Adames. I'm trying to say that the fighter you saw that night, if that fighter against Carlos Adames was an injured fighter, do not expect Hamza Shiraz to fight like an injured fighter. Against
I agree. I agree. That's facts. And Shiraz got a little bit of crack on him himself, so Berlanga got to be real careful.
Yep.
He keep talking about how he could punch and all that stuff. Shot come back. So it sounds good, but we gonna see.
Yeah, I think Shiraz.
All right, look, Shakur Stevenson biggest gate, right? 1.6 million. versus Oscar Valdez. That was his biggest gate, right? 1.6 million. Now I'm trying to find Edgar Berlanga biggest gate other than Canelo. Because Canelo,
I don't think you're gonna find that,
You ain't
brother.
gonna find it. His thing is Canelo. The thing
that was
Canelo,
17 million. Him and Canelo gate was 17 million.
Yeah, him and Canelo is the thing. That's it. That's it. And don't forget that they're trying to put Hamza in the conversation of fighting Canelo too. Don't forget that.
That's why I said it's the result of the fight more so than the stars of the fight.
Yeah, this is a big this is for Hamza Shiraz, bro. And then you got somebody like Hamza Shiraz is the A side, and then you got Edgar Berlanga who's gonna sell the fight for Hamza. Hamza's humble. Number one, he doesn't talk like that. Number two, he's not a big star like that in America. Put him across there from Edgar Berlanga. He gets to be exposed to a whole new demographic. He puts Edgar Berlanga out. He got a whole fan base going on in America right now. And I'm not saying he will, but I'm just giving like the big picture, the scenario of what comes off the back end of that fight, like Ray said. And I'm saying a lot more off the back end of that fight than Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda. Guys, it's that time for me, man. Let's say our last things, man. Salute to you guys. Go ahead and drop whatever you want to drop. We're about to close it up. We can start off with Mark. Let's start off with Mark and work our way around.
650,000 too. Edgar Berlanga biggest gate, 650,000.
Okay.
That's funny. But anyways, shout out to Claymore. Shout out to my boy Ray. Shout out to Dub, correct?
Dub, well connected.
Yeah, well connected.
Shout out to Dub. We in the building for sure, man. I appreciate Clay for having me on as always. You feel what I mean? For those of y'all who are interested in boxing content, go check out Mazuma TV. I go live every night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We talk about everything that's currently going on in the boxing world. Mazuma TV, the home of boxing excellence, man. Thank you guys very much. And I'll see y'all soon. So,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's up. Mazuma's channel's pinned right up there at the top of the channel. If you're looking for it, right up at the top of the chat, he's pinned up right there. Make sure you take a moment to go ahead and subscribe, man, for sure.
And I got. I'm gonna put Dove in the chat now.
Yeah, I think he.
All right, y'all. I'll holler at y'all.
Yeah. All right, peace, Mark.
All right, Mark. Yeah, Dub, what's good with you, family?
I'm gonna go with this, right? I want y'all to check out the Hamza Shiraz clown at Edgar Berlanga Ring Magazine interview, whatever. Say that he's the first fighter in history he's saying celebrate a loss. That's what Hamza Shiraz said. He said he ain't do nothing in boxing but lose against Canelo. And he was gifted going to the decision. Basically saying Canelo let him make it to 12 rounds. Whatever. Yeah, but man, y'all got check the channel. Let me turn the camera on or whatever. Check the channel out. I got some good interviews on there. Some top interviews. From the Calebs to the Antoine Russells to the to the up and coming fighters, the body snatcher. Gotta get the body snatcher on my man Claymore and Ray channel. Let y'all interview my up and coming prospect. 11
he got the name to pay the bills, man. Shout out to him. What's his name again? Damn it.
Dave Whitmire. Dave Whitmire.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10-0. 8 knockouts, 10-0, 8 knockouts. Up and coming. So look for him. And look for Benjamin Johnson. That's my favorite prospect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Benjamin Johnson. Yeah. He had a no excuse with Lamont Roach and them. He got 5-0, 5 knockouts. 147 pounder. So yeah, y'all gonna see more of us, man. That's my family. Claymore and Ray Davis.
That's all
we do. Me and Claymore chop it up all the time about boxing. That's all we do is debate and dispute.
Bub tried to get me to stop at 2:00 in the morning in DC.
Gotta be like, all right, man, let me finish. Let me talk, man. Hold on.
Claymore know he got overtalk me, man. He be getting over me to overtalk. I need to
tell me, Doug, when you was like, you gotta come through. It was like 3 a.m. I'm like, bro,
yeah, I gotta come through here, man, so I can get y'all some top interviews.
I got you.
I get in the grind. I'm gonna go to the gym at 5 o'clock.
Right.
So if y'all want to holler one of the Russells, hit me Claymore, hit me Ray, whatever, man. And look out for my man. Last thing, look out for my man, Gary Antoine Russell. He got He gonna see that
That's
boy.
finalized yet, or is that are we good with
Huh?
that? With Gary Antoine and Andy Hirocha, is that official yet, or is that?
Oh,
still...
it's definitely gonna happen. You know,
Okay.
it's definitely the next
They were
fight.
talking about that somewhere yesterday. Somewhere I don't know where I heard it, but I heard that was done.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be the next fight. So look forward within between either July or August. You know what I'm saying? Look for. I'm gonna get the. They ain't announced it yet, but it's gonna be July or August, whatever. So
Right.
look for that. And man, I
Also,
love y'all, man.
I got Dub pinned up in the chat right now. So we had Mark up there for a minute, but if you look up there right now at the top of the chat, you got Well Connected channel up there. It's easy money. Don't be a hater. Participate. Hit the link. Subscribe to the channel. He got the exclusive interviews, facts.
You say easy money. My channel ain't easy money.
Well, I'm just saying that it don't cost him nothing. You know what I mean? It's free.
Okay.
but
yeah,
but
man, love y'all, man. That's my family, man. That's my little brother and my big brother. You know, I'm older than Ray, but I'm younger than Clay.
You older than me?
Yeah, he is. Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think he's older than Ray.
No,
how old are you, Ray?
I'm 47.
Oh, damn, Ray got me too. But then my big brothers then.
No doubt, family. Hey, man, until the next one, man. I appreciate you, Doug.
Well, y'all went that real boxing knowledge last time. Y'all went that real boxing knowledge and stop going for this, you know, because we go off of facts here.
Yeah.
You know, so if I say something, that's because I know personally from boxer or trainer or coach. You know, we don't do like the other channels, man, just be making up stuff and putting their own mix on stuff. So, man, love y'all, man. I'm going to talk to you a little bit, Clay. Holla at you, Ray.
All right, family. Another one in the books, Ray. Davis. Yeah, this was a good one, man. I like this one.
168. Actually, that's the reason why I mentioned Pacheco, because I think he's in the back burner of one of these big fights too coming up, Clay.
Look, Diego Pacheco just no, I'm not gonna say duck. Let me not.
I know where you're going with. Okay. I know, but go ahead. But what I'm saying is,
I'm saying respectfully. You know what I mean? He had an opportunity to become a.
You don't like to use that word, right? We don't like to use that word around here, but it's cool.
Chose not to. He chose not to.
But I think that he's in the mix of something big too. I think that's why they move different. They have other opportunities that they talk about behind the scenes, and we start seeing these things play out as time goes on. So him, I think we got and Billy about to come back. We'll see what he's going to do. The division is growing. You're going to see a lot of guys from 160 moving up. It's about that time. And I think we're going to start seeing that division flourish again. Don't be surprised also if with all this going on, the reason why we don't know behind the scenes stuff, if Canelo jumps in the picture for a light heavyweight title, if Bibble wins, and maybe relinquishes the belts and makes this after Bud if he wins or lose and moves up to fight light heavyweight. And we see that division get a new champion after Bud retires or Bud defends, whatever happens. And then retires, whatever the case may be. But don't be surprised.
No doubt.
168 has a new landscape next year.
No doubt. Salute to everybody in the building, man. I appreciate you guys. Shout out to everybody who showed up in the super chats today. Thank you for the love. Anton, Dragonfly Jones, Ill Will, Big Dog Willie. Salute to all you guys, man. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for popping up in the chat today, guys. We got a big fight going on this weekend. I might be doing a live with Blue Blood on the fights. Don't quote me yet. This might be happening. Boxing is a good space, man. Salute to everybody in the building, man. It's your boy Ray. It's your boy Ray Davis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
At ATP Combat Media Show, man. And at this point,
we out.